The Browns, they're putrid. They're the worst team in the NFL.
The season, the 2024 season is over.
Lamar Jackson can't win the playoffs. He'll win a third MVP, though, so that's great. Drew Sample is the most important piece of the Bengals offense next year.
Go Joe Burrow. He deserves to be MVP. I wish he was the Browns quarterback. Kind of mean that.
If you're looking for the most reactionary, silly, and unserious show on the internet, then you're home. Live from Hamilton, Ohio, it's Off the Bench by Chatterbox Sports on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Reactionary, yes. Silly, yes. Unserious, undoubtedly. This is Off the Bench, presented by United Dairy Farmers. I'm Reed Mouse filling in for Justin Kidd on a Wednesday. I think I got one more hosting day. I don't think I'm gonna do Friday. I don't think I can swing Friday, but I'll be here today, tomorrow, and then you'll get Kenner back next week. But Reed Mouse along here with Jacob Tissett, Elliot Rear, and Casey McAllister. Jacob and Elliot, nice to. That's a sharp polo.
Thank you.
Your polo game is strong, and you take a lot of pride in it.
I do. I love my polos. I wear them every day.
Yeah, that's right.
What's your budget on clothes?
Budget on clothes?
Because admittedly, married man here, I don't buy clothes. Wife buys clothes. I just every once in a while I come home and there's a new outfit on the bed, and it's nice. And I don't ask questions on how much it's spent. Probably why we have credit card debt. But it's a lot of fun. But I don't buy clothes. I don't ever think to buy clothes. I don't ever think like, hey, I need a new polo.
Most of my spending money purchases are probably clothes. I think hats and polos and T-shirts. But most of my Alabama polos I got for free. So
that one's sharp.
The wealth of those is certainly nice. Cuts down that budget.
Yeah, that was sharp.
Thank
Ellie Rue, how's it going?
I'm doing good. It's hump day. Happy hump day.
It is hump
Whoop,
day.
Whoop, whoop.
It is hump
Whoop,
day.
whoop.
Two whoops and a yo and whatever I said the one time.
Yeah, that's right. I'm doing good. Nothing too special today. Feels good outside, so just enjoying it. I think the 90 degrees is done, right? We're done with the 90 degrees.
Oh,
Do you ever check the weather?
I'll check it. I'll never check it in advance.
I check it in the morning when I get up to see if I have to wear a hoodie or not.
Correct. That's what I do.
Yeah. I check it frequently.
It's getting to 85 today.
It's gonna be 85 for another. It hasn't rained in a month. We're not doing weather today. We're not doing weather today.
This is the last week of 89 though. So Friday, Saturday it'll get to 89.
How accurate is the 21-day forecast?
And then it's down to the 70s forever.
Yeah. Okay. Well, fall starts what, the 21st?
21st.
So we are close to fall. We're close to fall. Casey Rue, you look very tan.
Sure. Yeah, very tan. A lot of beige and brown today.
He's got khaki pants on and a tan shirt, and it blends in. Like your shirt.
Hair. Yeah.
I've never seen a shirt match someone's hair color more than your shirt matches your hair color.
Huh. You're kind of spot on. It is blending right in. That's crazy.
Three good tones there. Yeah. Alex definitely picked this outfit out.
She definitely picked out the shirt.
Okay.
She never actually picks out my outfits unless I beg her to, because I'm too lazy. But
I like when my wife treats me like I'm 4 years old. I like it when she's like, "Hey, we're gonna go eat dinner tonight. Wear this. I like it.
Yes, ma'am.
I like it. It's like I don't have to do anything. Like, all right, you want me to wear this? And the best part is if she says I look bad, it's like, hey, that's on you.
There you go.
That's on you. Speaking of my wife, thank you. She popped right in right before we started the show, gave me a nice little coffee, so I appreciate you, honey. Love you dearly. That was
nice
very
little UDF coffee.
Nice little UDF coffee.
Well, listen, we're sponsored by United Dairy Farmers for the radio listeners. It is a UDF.
That's right.
Yeah, you can't see it, so you can't prove otherwise.
That's right. All right, guys, big news here in Cincinnati. Cincinnati yesterday, and I say big news. I think it's relatively big news because it's something that we talked about on Monday. It's something that was a great cause for concern when talking about the Cincinnati Bengals, and that is what in the world were they going to do with the interior? It was actually a problem the entire offseason. They've got to bolster that interior line. They've got to get more bodies on the defensive line, and then there's a couple injuries, and when you are very thin in depth, injuries aren't what you like to hear. So what do? They go out and they sign a guy, Lawrence guy from the New England Patriots. Well, he was a free agent, and this is why I think that it is. I want to say I'm very happy with the move. I don't know how much impact it's going to have. I don't think this is a move that turns us from a 10-win team, an 11-win team to a 13. I don't think it's any kind of move like this. But when your back's up against the wall, when you have to do something because you are depleted on the defensive line, when you're having injuries down there, you go and get a guy like Lawrence Guy that has 120 career starts, that has played for winning organizations, that has played for defensive first, hard-nosed organizations, something that I think that we all can agree the Cincinnati Bengals, where the rest of the AFC North zigs, we zag in that department. Everyone else is hard-nosed. We're kind of, slinging around. Not as we don't fit the bill with the rest of the division. Lawrence Guy does bring that in. He comes from the New England Patriots. He won a Super Bowl there, has started multiple games, or has started his entire tenure there, formerly with the Indianapolis Colts and the Baltimore Ravens. Once again, those are hard-nosed, well-run organizations. And this is what I like most about the signing, is it shows a few things. It shows that the Cincinnati Bengals aren't just going to sit idly by and watch this season just unfold. They're going to actively go out and do things. And maybe their back was against the wall. Maybe they had no other choice but to go out inside. But they made a logical one. He's 34 years old. He's way over the hill. He's not going to have, I don't think necessarily he'll have a huge impact on the field, but he might have a huge impact in that locker room. He might have a huge impact on helping younger guys that are currently injured, but younger guys that we just drafted this year or had been around for a year or two now, to learn how to be a professional, to learn how to fit into a system. And you don't have to teach him. That's the best part. You don't have to take these young guys that have kind of bounced around team to team to team. You don't have to teach them into this system. It's a guy, hey, this guy's got 120 games in the National Football League. Is he a Pro Bowler in his prime? No. No. This isn't something that we're going to look back here in Week 18, Week 19 in the postseason and go, man, the season changed when we signed Lawrence Guy. Man, Lawrence Guy was the biggest move that the Bengals had made in season in decade. No, it's nothing along those lines. Not at all. The impact is far greater off the field than it is on the field. But it is an impact. And I want to give credit to the Cincinnati Bengals, as I often do, for making these moves. I often say, hey, let's shed the old Bengals. This isn't a move that the old Bengals make, to get a guy that started in this league for 12 years, to have him come into the system in a much needed, adding depth to the team. But it is a move that they made. It's a good one. And like I said, you can never have too much experience on a team. You can never have too many guys that know how to be professionals, that know how to go about winning in the NFL. And that's the other thing, is you're bringing in a winner. I mean, he's played for Bill Belichick, maybe the greatest defensive mind the sport's ever seen, the greatest coach the sport's ever seen, and has played for the New England Patriots, who are a great defensive, cohesive unit. And before that, he played for John Harbaugh and the Ravens, maybe the most well-run organization in the league. This guy's a tried and true professional. And I don't know what else to say other than that. Guys, thoughts? Jacob, I know you had a show yesterday. Your thoughts on Lawrence Guy being signed to the Cincinnati Bengals?
Yeah, couldn't have been more thrilled. We found out during the day yesterday during the show that they had two guys working out for him, and I said right away that Lawrence Guy is the guy I would want because he's a name we recognize. And when you're making a midseason move with the Bengals, it's usually not something that's in the cards. You're usually taking a practice squad guy from someone else or a young guy that you're putting all your chips on the table, hoping that he turns into something good, hoping you get a lottery ticket. This is more of a sure thing, more of you know what you're getting out of Lawrence Guy. And it's a position to need, and the Bengals are attacking that. I love that they're looking at the film from the first 2 weeks, seeing the injuries and saying, okay, we have a hole that needs to be addressed, going out and addressing it with probably the best guy for that role on the open market right now. This is not a common Bengals move like Reed just said, and it lets me know that they're still committed to winning right now. I know a lot of people have talked about how they still have money in the cap or other things, why they're not all the way in on win now right now. A move like this tells me that they are, and they recognize the situation that's ahead of them. They know that they're 0-2, and they have to win right now, and the Commanders are a big-time running team, and with Sheldon Rankins and B.J. Hill questionable at best, this is a crucial signing, and he'll be in there hopefully on Monday night. I think he'll contribute to the team right away.
Yeah, I remember a couple weeks ago, and it was on Dialed In. It was Tom and Luke talking about moves, and Tom has an opinion that I actually to some degree agree with, and say you can't say you're all in unless you spin to the cap, unless you are putting all your resources that you are allotted towards winning. I get it. That's a very logical take. And then I think Luke was talking about moves that other teams had done in years past to address things, and we talk about the defensive line, pass rush, and all these things. And he was talking about like the Ravens going and getting Jadeveon Clowney, or the Bills going out and get Von Miller, who, admittedly, those are two bad signings. I know Clowney had a couple good games last year, had a couple key moments, but those are moves that set your organization back, not move them forward. I think a move like Lawrence Guy, and I admit it, it's a move that's not going to directly impact the field. It's going to give us depth. It's going to bring pieces to the line. It's going to add something. But more than anything, you are bringing a guy that's been a part of a winning organization that has started over 120 games in the National Football League, and you're bringing him into a situation where he has a chance to teach young guys that are coming off injuries and help a team that, quite honestly, defensively, could use a guy that's been in a hard-nosed system before. Casey?
Yeah, the one thing that I would like to let the chat know that people really wanted them to go out and trade for a guy or go and call like Aaron Donald. Those are so unrealistic, especially 2 weeks into the season.
I still
let's wait until we get like McKinley Jackson back, right? Let's wait until we get some of these guys back to see what we truly have there. After weeks 7 and 8. Right as soon as the trade deadline happens, then we can talk about maybe going and getting another piece to really set us over the edge. But as of right now, there's no need to go out and get a guy. You did just enough against the Kansas City Chiefs, who can run the ball. You did just enough to stop them when it mattered. Yes, you gave up 150-plus yards running, but when it mattered most, you were able to stop them. So, that being said, this is a great depth piece, a leader, a guy that's been around the league for a very long time. I'm very happy with this move at the moment. I think this is great depth. If it continues to be an issue, like I said, weeks 7 and 8, then we can have a conversation about getting a name, right? Then we can have a conversation about, moving some pieces around.
I wouldn't hold your breath on a midseason trade from the Cincinnati Bengals.
Right.
But this is admittedly that's exactly what I'm always preaching here. Is like, hey, this isn't your dad's Bengals. This isn't your older brother's Bengals. This is a new Bengals team, and everything that they're showing is proving that, right? They're paying Joe Burrow to be the highest paid guy, and I know the Jamar Chase situation's going on right now, but then they're renovating the stadium, which is often thought of as one of the worst, if not the worst stadium in the National Football League. All these things that we're kind of shedding the old Bengals thing. I wouldn't hold your breath on a mid-season trade. But listen, when it comes to Lawrence Guy, I've said it now 6 times, 6 different ways. In a couple weeks, this might not be a move that we are like, man, Lawrence Guy with another 10-tackle game. Lawrence Guy with just clogging up all the gaps, and this defense will look different ever since we got Lawrence Guy. No, the difference that he's going to make is going to be in the locker room, on the practice field, and just filling in where he needs to be. Elliot, I don't know if you have an opinion on Lawrence Guy. I know this is a guy that probably slid under your nose, but your thoughts on the Bengals just going out and getting a much needed piece to the defense?
Every time we say guy when we're analyzing this guy, I my brain's put into a pretzel. But no, listen. If he's gonna play, and I'm looking at his game log here, and from 2023 to 2012, he didn't miss a lot of games. This is a Bengals team that seems to have an injury bug or injury problems all around the field, usually at some point during the season, and it's the NFL, and it's a physical sport, and I get all that. But last year, he started what? There was 17 games. He started 12 of them. Didn't really get hurt last season. So, yeah, I think he's going to be an impact player right away. The Bengals needed to make a move. They made a move. And I think you can rest on that. Rest on the fact that the organization is trying to win. They're not going to sit on their hands and just watch the season float away. They know they have areas of concern, and they're trying to address them in the best ways that they can. He was the best available, right?
Yeah, probably.
I mean,
he was at least one of the most proven available for sure.
One of the best available.
He's 34. Like best available is a vague term, but he is. I mean, he's been a starter in the league for 12 years.
He's probably the most ready to play out of anyone.
Yes,
available.
you don't have to spend weeks on weeks like teaching him stuff like, hey, you've been here,
He's not a young guy that you have to worry about not catching up to speed or anything like that. He'll be able to pick it up pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'm a fan of a veteran signing.
Yeah, it's the same move that we see in other sports, right? It's just you notice that there is a need, and you go and get a guy that is a free agent that wasn't playing anywhere, and you go say, hey, let's see what you got, right? Give you another run in the sun. You clearly want to keep playing. We have a need. Let's see what you got. And it's gonna be and it's gonna make a big impact in the locker room. It really is. Like I said, when you play for Bill Belichick, when you play in a good organization, and you start for all those years, it's undoubtedly that you're gonna by osmosis, some things are gonna trickle on down to the young guys on the team. So that's where we're at. All right, when we come back, we're going to do Elliot's headlines. Leading off today, Elliot.
Starting the show.
Starting the show. Let's go. We'll be right back on Off the Bench on 1410 Wing AM. You're watching Off the Bench and listening to Off the Bench presented by United Dairy Farmers. We're here in Hamilton, Ohio. You're listening on 1410 Wing AM. Reed and Mouse filling in for Justin Kenner. Tried to get some guests today, but things fell through at the last moment, so we didn't get one. On today's show, we're going to talk about the Reds' injuries and how they contend. I think our boss had a take. He put it on Twitter. Trace put a take on Twitter that I think I necessarily agree with, though I do see some holes in the logic. We're going to do Jacob's top 10 on college football. I almost gave my college football top 10.
I think we want to see that.
Because everyone knows I watch a lot of college football.
That's right.
I'm well versed in college football. And then we're going to do a little buy or sell NFL edition later in the second hour. But for right now, Ellie Root, headlines.
Elliot loves three things: Joey Votto, David Bell, and leading off the bench with top headlines.
That's right. I do. I love all those things. And I love the Cincinnati Reds. I do. I know I give them a hard time because they're terrible, but I love them. I love them, and that's what they are. I'll be there tonight. Great American Ballpark. All the 300 fans that are going tonight, I'll see you guys there. The Redlegs beat the Atlanta Braves 6-5. 6-5 last night. They were down 5-1 in the top of the fourth inning. Came all the way back. Brandon Williamson left early, elbow strain. He threw 1 1/3 innings before he was forced to exit. 3 hits, 3 earned runs. Alexis Diaz did get his 28th save of the season. Hopefully he gets to the magic number of 30. I'd like that. Spencer Steer officially gets a 2020 season as he hits the go-ahead home run. I think Spencer Steer is a guy nobody will ever talk about when you think about the Cincinnati Reds, this version of the Cincinnati Reds. But he is an efficient player. He's going to finish this year with a positive WAR. He's a solid guy to have. 2020 seasons. It's so good for him. Good for Spencer. I'm happy for him.
Spencer Steer, I want to chime in real quick. Spencer Steer's a guy that if he played in a different era, he'd be way more respected. I think. Like if he played in the late 90s or early 2000s, to where this guy is stealing 20 bags, he's going to hit 25 to 30 home runs, somewhere in that mix. They would like him way more. But in the age of analytics, where you see the deficiencies defensively and stuff like that, he's a solid ball player. Great player.
Jacob Junis, 4-0 with a 2.7 ERA. That is who is starting tonight. He will be starting against Spencer Schwellenbach. So hopefully the Reds can take a series. I saw that they're 31-18 in the first game of the series.
Wasn't that fun?
Isn't that a fun little nugget? Surely they're good, right?
Surely.
No. Around the league, Guardians fall to the Twins 4-1. Dodgers lose to the Marlins 11-9. But Shohei Ohtani hits his 48th home run. He has 48 home runs and 48 stolen bases.
I've realized something about. I text this to you guys. You always give me crap for the Xavier. You're like, you're not a real Xavier fan. I actually might be a bigger Shohei Ohtani fan. Like Shohei, you know the guys that Jacob. I'm pointing at Jacob, but there's other guys that are like, I'm not a Lakers fan. I'm not a Cavs. I'm a LeBron fan. I'm a Shohei fan. I will follow that guy to the end of the earth. I really will. That dude's the greatest baseball player that the world's ever seen.
It's something about watching greatness. You just got to soak it in while it's here.
I literally turned on. This has happened now 3 times in the last 2 weeks where I'm just sitting at home, not a whole lot to do, and I'm just like, oh, Dodgers are playing. I'll flip on the Dodgers game. I'll look up like Shohei's about to hit. Turn on, boom, 460-foot moonshot.
I was gonna say, I've never seen him hit a home run that was like a wall scraper.
Yeah.
I've never seen him like the outfielder has a chance to make a play on it, rob it. All of his home runs are at least like 5th row back. They're just absolute moonshots.
They might be juicing the ball. And I saw a home run one time where he like fully extended, like he like leaned over. It honestly looked like the hit you got off me.
Yeah.
But it just went like 330 feet right around the corner at Dodger Stadium. And I was like, all right, they might be juicing these balls.
Well, but see, I go back to it, and they definitely weren't juicing the ball when Todd Frazier hit a home run when his hands weren't on the bat. Do you remember that play?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a play that's I don't think
They weren't juicing balls for Todd Frazier.
No, that's what I'm saying. And he was able to hit a home run. His hands weren't on the bat. I've never seen anything like that. But to each their own. Here we go.
I hate the Shohei Ohtani betting jokes too. I get a little offended every time I see.
What
him.
were his odds preseason for MVP? Not pitching. I probably wasn't the favorite, was he?
Yeah, it was probably Acuna or Mookie and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know.
He's the favorite
He's
now.
gonna be a rich man after he wins it.
Is he?
Well, probably bet on him.
Did you just alley-oop? Did you just oop yourself?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Giants, they blanked the Orioles 10-0. Rays crushed the Red Sox 8-3. Mets, they blow out the Nationals 10-1. Their wild card lead is now 2 games. 2 games. Nobody had any faith in the New York Mets, but nonetheless, they are probably going to the postseason here. I would say injuries had a little bit to do with that. Shout out to the Braves. Athletics beat the Cubs 4-3. Good for them. Shea Langoliers did a couple of home runs.
Shea
I saw.
Langoliers
Ian Happ hit a home run.
Ian Happ hit 2.
Two
Ian
home
Happ
runs as well?
hit a home run on it was the fastest pitch ever to be hit for a home run.
Whoa, how about that?
It was. I watched the Cubs yesterday, and I got to watch Mason Miller. Also a huge Mason Miller fan. That was a blast, and Ian Happ hit a 104-mile-an-hour pitch.
Wow.
Deep.
The Reds got through Mason Miller pretty easily, I would say.
That's right.
People forget it's his worst performance
We
of the
also
year.
hit Clase better than almost anyone in the league.
That's right. We don't hit the Brewers guy at all.
Devin Williams.
Devin Williams.
Or Pyoms.
Yeah, I think we're both 0 for a million on those.
I say it every time Devin Williams pitches against the Reds. I do not think we've ever hit him.
Yeah?
Anecdotal stat, because obviously we have.
But
But if he runs out of that bullpen, see ya.
Phillies take care of the Brewers 5-1 to extend their 1 seed. I think if there's any chance right now, the Brewers are trying to catch up. Dodgers are a couple games back. Brewers now a couple games back. So Phillies still have the best record in the National League. Tigers beat the Royals 3-1. Bobby Witt becomes the first shortstop in Major League history with multiple seasons of 30-30. I didn't know that was a thing. I thought for sure some other shortstop would have gotten multiple 30-30s before, but nonetheless, Bobby Witt is the king of that now.
A-Rod would have if he didn't get moved to third. So
Tigers are still 1.5 games back of a playoff spot. The Angels shut out the White Sox 5-0 to end their win streak. The Astros beat the Dodgers 4-3. I don't know if anybody saw this. Jose Altuve was tossed because he removed his sock and his shoe to prove that a pitch hit him to the umpire. So he took it all off, and the umpire said, "Not today."
That's funny. He didn't like taking his clothes off a couple years ago.
You're right. He's fine with taking.
Yeah, he's fine with it now.
Fine with removing it now.
So
he's
here's
not mic'd up all over
Yeah.
the place.
Here's
No
my other
buzzer on
thing:
his
is
foot.
it stinks that Jose Altuve is marred in that controversy because is there a more easier before that happened? Was there an easier guy to root for than 5'5" Jose Altuve
No.
being? I mean, he's a Hall of Famer.
Is he still?
I don't know.
I hope not.
I don't know. It would be a no doubter if that didn't happen. But
For sure.
he's I think he has the most career postseason home runs.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Juan Soto hit his 40th home run of the season last night. Aaron Judge brought home 4 runs as well. The Yankees crushed the Mariners 11-2. I think people forget that Juan Soto is also having an MVP caliber season.
He's really good.
Really good.
And he's really young.
How much money is he going to make this offseason?
And will it be with the Yankees?
If he goes, who else could it be with, though? It can't be the Dodgers, right? They can't just get him
I don't
all.
think he's leaving New York.
Oh, you think he's going to the Mets?
I think it's one of the two.
If he goes to the Mets.
Dude, he should stay in Yankee so he can just rack up home runs.
He would hit 1 billion home runs in his
He's
career.
so he's the 8th player to hit 200 home runs in his age 26 or younger. He's only 26 years old. He's like 2 years younger than like Spencer Steele, which is crazy.
a
to think.
10-year deal. He's still in his prime.
So like
That makes me feel better. He's still older than me.
So
that makes me
I
feel
will-
good. I can still do what he did in the year.
Yeah, you got time to catch up.
Yeah.
Can you name any of the other 7? Any of the other guys to hit 200 home runs before he turned 26? One was a Red.
I don't like this game.
I don't either, 'cause I'm going to sound stupid.
I'm going to sound really stupid. I'm not guessing.
I don't think I'm going to guess either.
Frank Robinson was the Red.
Nice.
Okay.
Albert Pujols and A-Rod did it. Mickey Mantle did it. Eddie Matthews did it. Jimmy Fox and Mel Ott.
Okay.
Glad I didn't guess.
Yeah, I wasn't low for on that one. I might have guessed Mickey Mantle.
Well, that's just a safe one.
Yeah. WNBA added its 15th franchise. They're expanding to Portland. Jacob,
Woo!
are you gonna be a fan of the Portlands?
Yeah, good for WNBA expanding. You know, they make so much money, hand over fist, year after year, that they might as well expand. So, good for them adding a new team.
No, in Austin, it's incredible what Caitlin Clark's doing for that league.
Oh,
and truly, it truly is incredible what they're doing. And if that league messes that up, which they already fumbled to stop, they already fumbled it on the Olympic thing.
Yeah.
The fact that, you know, teams are coming into the league, the fact that they are getting TV deals that are raising salaries, they're now flying not commercial flights, like they're getting private chartered flights. It's incredible what Caitlin Clark's doing for that, and it's a sight to see.
The most influential people to their sports: Wayne Gretzky, Michael Jordan, what he did for basketball. You have Tiger Woods, what he does for golf, and then it's Caitlin Clark, what she does for women's basketball. Because when I say nobody watched it, 0.0 people watched the WNBA before this season. I've had it real quick. Sorry, I've been like, it's been like a Tuesday night. You know, every once in a while in the summer, you're a little bit bored. You're like, what's on TV? Oh, Caitlin's playing. All right, I'll watch the fourth quarter. I've never would I ever consider doing that if she wasn't in the league.
Yeah, it's you mentioned some good names. I think the only one that comes close to realizing how big of an impact they have on the sport was what Tiger Woods did to golf.
Yeah.
Like basketball was bit like it boomed because of Magic and Larry. It obviously took to new heights because of Michael Jordan. But no, like it was. You're right. It was no fans, no WNBA fans. Now people are tuning in to watch. Like the only person that draws like that is Tiger Woods.
I was going to say, Colin Cowherd did a really good take on this a while back, a couple of years ago, maybe 4 years ago, about how influential Tiger is, and he had a whole graphic of what all the increases: golf balls, tees, recreational playing time. People go out and play more when Tiger's playing, watching golf, celebrating, knowing the players. Tiger Woods brings so many eyeballs to the sport that they were throwing out what Liv would pay him, and it's $800 million, I think was the number, the rumored number. I still think that would be underpaying him. That is how vital he is to the sport of golf. I know he might not win another major, but even when he's just out there just throwing plus sevens, I'm still all my eyes. And people get mad at that. People get mad at.
I see tweets every time. It's like, why is he a featured group? He's nowhere close
because
to the
I want to
watch Tiger.
I don't. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't want to watch Max Homa right now. I love Max. Hold on.
Bad example.
That was a stray. I love Max Homa, but I'm watching Tiger Woods. That's it. Same thing with WNBA. I'm watching Caitlin Clark. Respectfully, that is the only person I am watching.
We do that. We do that as the people that get mad. We do that for every sport. Like we get mad when, you know, either the Cowboys or Patrick Mahomes always on the TV. We're always talking about those teams and stuff like that. It's because people want to hear about that. But yeah, it is incredible. Who had a bigger impact on recreational golf? Tiger Woods or COVID?
Oh,
because when COVID happened, like, not that golf was like some secret thing that we were hiding, but golf. My dad, he worked at Potter's Golf Course for now 3 decades, and he said ever since COVID, it's boomed. It has boomed. People have more time on their hands. They picked up a new game, a new hobby, and everyone plays. Everyone plays it now. What had a bigger impact, Tiger or COVID?
I think it's I think it might actually be COVID, because I think I could book a tee time for golf like on Friday night. I remember like when I was in high school, I would be able to do that. Early years of college, I could be able to do that
on a Saturday. Like you can be out. You can be out with your friends and be like, "Hey, you want to play tomorrow? All right, we'll book it for late morning."
You can't book tee times anymore.
Right.
I can't go anywhere.
Weeks in advance. Yeah.
There's outings. There's so many more outings. The recreational golfers are out there. Like if you go to like a CRC course, that's Cincinnati Recreation Course. Those are my home courses. Those are booked everywhere. I literally tried to book 9 holes last Friday. And I called up Woodland, 9-hole course. You guys have been there. 9-hole, easy course. I don't even consider it a real golf course. I'm like, yeah, is there any tee times tonight? Like, I would just come at like 6:30. He's like, no, we're booked up. All recreation, no leagues or anything, just people wanting to go play. It's crazy. So, yeah, I'm going to say COVID on that one.
The wedding that I'm going to later this week is with a friend of mine. He plays golf more than anybody I know. His bachelor party, they played like 8 rounds of golf, and I'm not a big golfer. There was a couple times this summer where we'd be out on a Friday night, and I'd be like, hey, you playing tomorrow? Like, you want to play tomorrow? And he's like, well, 1, Reed, you know already I have a tee time, and 2, you're not going to find a tee time at 8:30 on a Friday night tomorrow. He's like, you might be able to play like 6:30 tomorrow, either in the morning or at night, but you're not playing at a time you actually want to play. And I was like, oh, okay. It's just a matter of game.
It's kind of insane. Two other headlines here before we send it to break.
I have a fun White Sox stat, too.
And I love White Sox stats.
It's really fun.
Kareem Hunt has rejoined the Kansas City Chiefs. He has signed with them. It looks like he will be their new running back. Maybe give him a week grace period.
I don't think he'll play this week, but he'll start.
Samaje Perine will probably start this
Carson
week.
Steele.
Pacheco's out. Like that injury's done for the year, right?
8 weeks.
Oh, only 8.
That's what I saw. That's
because they're just putting the plates in, and it's just when can he?
So it's a fracture. It's not a full break. Like,
Yeah,
I don't even think you can fully break that bone.
I don't think it matters either way because with the break, they're just going to set it, and it's as soon as he feels comfortable. It's the thing for him. He's going to be healthier long before he feels comfortable running on it. So it could last longer than the health. It's a 6 to 8 week injury, but who knows when he's going to feel comfortable playing NFL football on a broken leg.
Shout out to the Kansas City Chiefs for making a terrible draft pick and drafting a running back in the first round, and it just didn't matter.
Didn't matter at all.
Because they got a 7th rounder. That was really good.
I was responding to Everett's golf thing. Kyler Murray's jersey and game ball will be enshrined in Canton, Ohio, from this past weekend's performance of their obliteration of the Rams. I saw this. Murray completed 17 of his 21 passes for 266 yards and 3 touchdowns while rushing for 59 more yards. Murray became just the second quarterback in NFL history to throw for at least 250 passing yards with at least 50 rushing yards, while also finishing the game with a perfect passer rating of 158.3. So his jersey and game ball will be in Canton, Ohio. I don't know how many quarterbacks can say,
Very cool.
or how many active quarterbacks can say they're in Canton, Ohio already. So.
Jacob, you're a big memorabilia guy because I see the stuff. Like baseball, the Cubs are really good about auctioning stuff off, and it's fairly cheap. Would you like if the Bengals, do they have an auction site?
Yeah.
Do they have an auction site? Like, would you get someone like like Chase Brown's game used pants?
I have Hayden Hurst's pants from the AFC Championship behind me.
Love that.
Yeah, I love that stuff. The weird stuff's my favorite. Jerseys are cool. I have some jerseys, but all the weird stuff's the best. The cleats, the pants, the stuff that is little harder to find. That's my favorite stuff to get.
I think Paul and Casey and Tom and I think Elliot too talked me out of. I was pressing, getting ready to click the button on buying Dansby Swanson's the pants he wore in the first game as a Cub. I was clicking the button, and I think Paul looked at me back. What's his nickname? Quitter Paul. Quitter Paul.
Because he quit.
Yeah, he looked at me. He's like, "You're not actually gonna buy a man's pants, are you?" And I'm
come
like,
on.
"Heck yeah, I am. It was $40.
You showed up.
$40.
And you talk about it enough that I know you regret it.
I do, because I would have worn them in my league.
You would have worn them. Now that might be a step too far.
Fair enough. Any more headlines? All right, we're gonna take it to break. When we come back, we're gonna talk about the Cincinnati Reds. We haven't talked about the Cincinnati Reds this week.
Oh joy!
We haven't talked about the Cincinnati Reds this week. I'd like to pull the ear of Elliot and Jacob about as the season is winding down. There was 2 tweets yesterday that I thought were very interesting. I was heavy. I tell you guys all the time, I'm not on Twitter a whole lot. Like I miss a lot. And yesterday I didn't have a whole lot to do, so I was keeping up. And there was 2 tweets that I thought were very interesting. Very interesting. We'll talk about that when we come back on 1410 Wing AM. And we're back here on Off the Bench, presented by United Dairy Farmers. Reed Mouse filling in for Justin Kenner. Be here today, tomorrow. They're going to have to figure out what they're going to do on Friday. I think you guys.
Back-to-back Jacob and Elliott shows on Fridays?
Oh boy!
Get
Get ready to pick every game
Chat's
available.
not ready for that one.
You guys ready for some news here in the Cincinnati
Yeah.
cuisine area? It's National Cheeseburger Day.
Oh, there's some deals.
Gold Star, BOGO.
Wow.
BOGO Burger and Fries. BOGO Burger and Fries, Gold Star Chili. I know Casey's a big Gold Star fan. Maybe we'll go get some lunch after
Well,
this.
Casey's a big Gold Star fan until he doesn't know which is which, and then he's a Skyline fan.
Tough.
He's a Gold Star fan for show.
Who's a Gold Star fan for show? Do you think he's just a contrarian?
Casey, do you not remember when we did the blind taste test and he liked Skyline better?
I remember the blind taste test, but you're like saying that there's like some valor in being
He
a Gold
wants
Star
to be a
fan.
contrarian.
Okay. That's true.
Because he likes Skyline better.
I've actually always said that Casey's trying to be different a little too much. A little too much. I don't think the glasses are real. I don't think the glasses are real.
Fake.
I think he's doing it just
Fake
to be
beard?
a little bit of a hipster. Guys, Brandon Williamson looked bad. It looked bad on the interior last night. I know Trace put out a tweet. I'll pull that up right now. But I just wanted to hear your thoughts. And as I'm pulling up Trace's tweet, it says, I hope Williamson is okay. However, you can miss me with the we're just injured in 2025. That's been the big calling card for this year is like, hey, this team depleted in injuries. And that's an unequivocal fact that this team is absolutely been ravished with injuries this year. The team that you thought you were going to get, you did not get because of all the injuries. He goes on in his tweet, blame whoever you want for the injuries, but I'm done relying on injury-prone players. It's half the roster. Your thoughts on that tweet, your thoughts on that take, and your thoughts, Elliot, on if this team, if it is something that the team, I think it's undeniable that they should be concerned about the injuries, but is it something that should have been avoided by Nick Kroll and when they put this roster together, getting injury-prone players?
I don't know if this year you could have avoided it because there hasn't been enough film to know that these guys were injury-prone. And I don't want to just say everybody's injury-prone. But last year it happened, and it's towards the end of last year. They're all so young, and we're like, okay, all right. Maybe they're just not used to this high workload. That's what I thought with Andrew Abbott. We get to this year. Andrew Abbott's not here. In fact, I'll just read all these again because I think it's honestly insanity. Jake Fraley's currently not on the injury report, but it is of note that he has been on the injury list 5 different times, I believe, this season. I think 4 of those times for actual injuries. Hunter Green on the IL. Andrew Abbott, IL. Lodolo, IL. Jamir Candelario on the IL. Sam Moll is on the IL. Ian Jabot's on the 60-day. Nick Martini is on the 60-day. If you remember Nick Martini, yes, he's still with us on the 60-day IL. Matt McClain, 60-day IL, not coming back this season. Graham Ashcraft, 60-day IL. He was bad when he was here. Went to the 60-day IL. Could have used him when everybody else went down, but injured. Stuart Fairchild, 60-day IL. His season's over. Christian Encarnacion Strand, IL. Season over. Austin Wins. I know he wasn't a big factor, but we've seen what Luke Maley was behind or at the plate this season. Could have used Austin Wins at some point this year. 60-day IL. TJ Antone, 60-day IL. Edwin Arroyo before the season, 60-day IL, done for the year. This is a point where you have to plan for it now. You got a bunch of guys that get hurt a lot.
Yeah.
You have to. I know you say it's an MLB season, 162 games is a long time. You're going to lose guys to injury.
Everyone's dealing with injuries, yes.
I'd argue that there hasn't been a team that's lost this many crucial players to the success of the roster. Braves, again, that's 3 guys. Those three really, 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 really good guys. Don't get me wrong. Ozzie, Acuna, Michael Harris, and I guess Spencer Strider. 4 really, really good guys that they lost this year. We've lost everybody. We've lost the backups to the really good guys. It's been a fruitless season, and I don't mean to pick on the Reds so much right now because what can you really do about injuries, right? At least this year.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Get there. Sorry.
Next year, now you know what you can do about injuries because you know we got a bunch of guys that aren't going to stay healthy. I know that. Nick Lodolo, how many times are we going to watch this guy go on the IL? And I'm gonna try to be as nice as I can because I don't really want to say that they're all injury prone and it's their fault that they get hurt. I don't like saying that. I'm saying this from a roster building standpoint. You have to have guys that are able to play games. Find guys with a track record that can stay healthy. I'm going to say this name again, and Jacob doesn't like when I do it. Ellie De La Cruz has been the best player for many reasons. The largest, in my opinion, is because he's never been really seriously hurt.
It's fine now. There's not enough games left.
Knock on all the wood you can, but he's healthy. Spencer Steer's healthy. He plays 160 games. Find guys that are able to do that. Hunter Green, I thought this was going to be the year he was going to stay healthy and he was going to prove everybody wrong. Goes down with an injury. I don't know if it was a fluke injury. I don't know if the cover-up story is that he hit his elbow. I don't know if he's actually hurt. I don't know. I don't know who to believe, and I don't care. He wasn't available for the last couple of starts. I don't really want him available for the next couple of starts. Andrew Abbott, dead arm at the end of last season. People said it was because of the workload. Wasn't used to it yet. All right, fine. This year, same issue. Brandon Williamson, hurt. From my standpoint, we've got a bunch of guys that are incapable of playing an entire MLB season. That's a problem. That's a problem. And if I'm Nick Kroll and I'm trying to build next year's roster, I'm looking at all these injuries and I'm saying, okay, I see what we've got. We're going to have to innings limit everybody. And I'm going to have to find guys somewhere that can stay healthy for an entire season. Is it bad luck? Yeah, a little bit. There's no doubt about it. But Nick Senzel, and I hate to pick on Nick Senzel. God, I hate to do it every time. But you knew he was getting hurt at some point during the course of the season. You knew he was going to go down for a couple weeks, maybe a month. I now know that's going to happen next season. I don't trust Nick Lodolo to stay healthy for an entire year. I can't do it. Andrew Abbott, I know he's going to be great for the first 4 months. Same deal with Hunter Green. Matt McClain has yet to be healthy as a Red. He had a couple month stretch. So I'm looking around here and I'm saying, who can we rely on? And Nick and Trace talked about it last night. But you can't rely on a lot of these guys to stay healthy. That's a serious issue when you're talking about the core of the Reds. Our core is a bunch of injured guys. And it's frustrating to see. I love them all. I don't want to make this I'm blaming you for getting hurt. But I am going to blame Nick Kroll next year if we don't have backup contingency plans when these same injuries arise. When we get to September and Andrew Abbott's arm is a wet noodle. When Nick Lodolo is dealing with injuries constantly. You have to have a backup plan. We have pitching depth. I'm not too worried there, and I think a lot of these guys can go to the bullpen as far as I'm concerned. And we can just do the bullpen way. It's not been terrible, at least. It's been much better than I thought the past month or so. Jacob Junis is 4-0 with a 2 ERA. He only goes 4 innings. Nick Martinez, same type of deal. He's been a little bit better than that. But I'm looking around the roster right now, and I know we've got a lot of injured guys, and I can't trust a lot of them to stay on the field. And maybe it's nobody's fault, but Nick Kroll, please have a plan next year. I agree with Trace 100%. If we come in next year with the same roster and no plan, and we're just going to expect Matt McClain to be 100% healthy for 160 games, if we're going to expect Andrew Abbott, Nick Lodolo to be healthy, it's a bad expectation, and that's not the way to do this.
I think I do it as a bit, admittedly. I do it as a bit, but I think that I always ask these guys, I was like, you just putting a little too much pressure on Matt McClain? Putting a little too much pressure on old Matty McClain? Great player, no doubt about it. I think he was everyone's favorite player last year. But to expect, what's got to be a 15 WAR? You got to have a 15 WAR to turn. No, another thing that I talked about Trace's tweet, and I agree. I don't know what you do about it. That's what this is so hard. I don't know what you do about injury-prone players, because it's this vague thing, and it's so vague that fans we go like, is there something wrong with the training staff? Fire the training staff. We got to have a different train. Like they've got to be better. It's a very vague thing about why all these injuries happen. I don't know what you do about it. Because you don't want to ask these players to not play anymore, because they're good players when they're out on the field. But is it a fluke? Is it who they are as players? Is it something that we knew about these guys? I don't know those answers. I think you're right. You got to have at least some sort of a plan to get people that are going to be out there, a little more sturdy players, a little bit thicker guys, bigger guys, like Spencer Steer. You can say what you want about me, noticing Spencer Steer's a thicker guy, but there's a direct correlation between guys that are bigger and guys that are lean, and how often they play. Go ahead.
I was just saying, I don't think it's people were saying the training staff. I don't think our training staff's out there hurting our players. Until I read a report that the players are actively complaining that treatment is not the way that they expected, or I'm not gonna side with the fact that the Reds organization is practicing some sort of illegal operation. I'm not gonna buy into that yet. Now, if I get a report, I'm gonna believe it. So we'll see if Charlie Goldsmith ever reports that. I don't know if he will, but until I see it, I'm not gonna believe it. For a lot of them, I think there is a plan where I think Andrew Abbott can go out of the bullpen. I think Ashcraft can go out of the bullpen. I think Williamson can go out of the bullpen. But that means you have to pay for 2 starters, or at least 1 starter, where I know you're going to be a Frankie Montas type of innings eater, and hopefully a little bit better. Hopefully you find an arm with at least a sub 4.2 ERA. That's my goal. A $14 million pitcher who can have a 4.2 ERA and he doesn't miss a start. Or if he misses 2, that's fine. That's what I want. Jamir Candelario, the big offseason signing, a miss. I mean, it was a miss. We can sit here and talk about whatever we want. He can't play defense. He can barely play offense. He hits a little bit of home runs, so I guess that's okay. But he's hurt, and he's been out. You have to have contingency plans. Fine, and that's why everybody wants guy from the Red Sox, Tyler O'Neill. Yeah. Tyler O'Neill's had a lot of injuries. It's a lot of injuries. I don't want to sign a guy that has that history of missing a lot of games. I don't want to deal with it. And there's only so much you can do. I understand it. There's only so much you can do with preventing injuries. Maybe you just get bad luck, and it's bad luck everywhere. Like this season. I truly do believe this season was bad luck. But we know some of them, these injuries are going to continue going on in their careers because they've happened now back-to-back seasons. Andrew Abbott, the same exact thing, roughly. So we'll see what happens. I think there's a fix for some of it. There's a couple others like Matt McClain. I just have to pray. You just have to pray that he's going to play. That's it. That's the only option you have. I want to believe he's healthy enough to play next season. That we're going to have a healthy offseason. We're going to go into spring training, and he's not going to make any weird dives in the infield. He's just going to be ready for opening day. I'm going to pray for that because that's all I have. And there's a couple other guys in there as well. Jake Fraley, same sort of deal. I don't know what happened to Jake Fraley this year. Lost all his power, IL several different times. CES.
Those things probably correlate.
Yeah, those things probably correlate. CES, again, he was the worst qualified baseball player while he was here. But a large part of that was the injury thing. And they let him play on the injury thing. So I don't know. I'm going to give them one pass. This was their one free pass.
They used it awfully early.
They used it real early. If next year the same type of thing happens where we lose half our roster to injuries, we don't get to sit there and say, oh, it's bad luck.
That's true.
We don't get to say that anymore.
So here's my question. So I saw another tweet. So I brought up Trace's tweet, and thank you for sharing those points. I think those are all valid. That you can only use that we're hurt excuse so many times, right? Like same thing goes in football, right? Like the first Joe Burrow season-ending injury, it happens. The second one, there's some questions there. Hunter Green's supposed to pitch on Sunday. Final week of the year, he's missed now close to a month. He's missed three weeks or so. He's ramping up. Why in the world is Hunter Green going to throw on Sunday?
It makes no sense.
The answer is because
why in the heck are they gonna ramp him up to throw?
The answer is because he probably wants to, and he's a competitor, and that's just the sports jargon that we'll use here.
Your coach's job is to protect players from themselves.
But there is no situation in the coming 2 weeks of this season. No situation where I want Hunter Green on the mound. None.
I see a lot of people talking about innings, too, and how he needs to work up if we want to have him pitch into the playoffs next year if we're on a run or something like that. What's he going to get? 12 more innings?
Right. He's gonna get
15 more innings?
He's going to get 2 starts.
Yeah, I don't need that. I don't need to risk him getting hurt in a season that's over for 15 more innings. It's just not something I'm even considering.
I hate to do the Jacob here. Winning games isn't beneficial for the Reds anymore right now. I just lose as many as you can. Hopefully you get a better odds in the little roulette wheel that they spin to see who gets a better draft pick.
Send Devin Mesoraco again and cross our fingers.
Legit, the Cincinnati Reds could come out and say, we're done. Every team who plays us, have a win. We'll see you next year, and hopefully our players will be healthy. That they could do that, and I swear to God I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care one bit. But knowing that that's not probably an option, they're going to sit here and they're going to try to win games. And if they get to 500, good for them. They fought through all the injuries and they get to 500. Yippee. But I'm out. I'm out on Hunter Green risking injuries. I don't need to risk any more injuries. Shut them all down. Ellie De La Cruz, I'd shut him down too. I'd shut them all down. Every player that's worth a damn, shut them down.
Oh, you don't shut down Ellie.
Why are we risking? But why are we risking?
I don't want to shut down Ellie.
Why are we risking injuries though? This season's lost. This season's lost. It's over. It's done. See you in 2025.
You don't realize as pro David Bell people how badly you need him to get to 500. How bad? Because I mean that's just another tool in the belt. It's another tool in the heart. It's like, this guy gets to 500 with all these injuries.
I think that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to get to 500, and the organization's going to say, see, look what he did. Look what he did with all the obstacles that he had to face this year. 500 baseball manager. Look at him. I don't want that. Lose. Just lose, because it was a losing season. I don't want the 83 win mark this year to give some fan who didn't really watch the game some illusion that the Reds were competitive this year. They weren't. They were not competitive at any point during this season. I'm a positive Reds fan.
I can tell. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about the conversation we had about the different sects of Reds fans the other day. Elliot had a very, very interesting take on like the different pockets of Reds fans and where he sits. If he wants to tell you that, we'll do it on box lunch one day. But not right here. We're gonna take a break. We're gonna take a break. It's so funny if they get back to 500, and that's a tool, because it's like Cincinnati has
Kirby stat.
It's like what
Kirby stat. If the Reds get to 500, it would be the first time they've been 500 or better in 4 out of 5 years since 1986 to 1990.
There you go. That's something to hang your
what
hat
we
on.
play for.
I would
David
love
Bell.
that banner.
David Bell, like a Diet Right Mike Tomlin. We'll be right back here on Off the Bench, presented by United Dairy Farmers. All right. Off the Bench, presented by United Dairy Farmers. Reed Mouse. Elliot, I think he needs a break from talking a little bit, because my favorite thing. So here on this show, we've had so many people on this show since the 2 years that we started it, and everyone's got their own like talents. Everyone has like deliveries and differences. My favorite thing is you can get Elliot, and you can, those little toys that you just like wind up on the back. Just like you just spin, and you put it on out there. And I'll just go like, Elliot, what are your thoughts on the Cincinnati Reds? Do you think that they're going to be good next year? And then in just 15 minutes, Ellie Rue's got it. It is truly beautiful. Like Jacob can do 15 minutes on college football at any moment. I'll just be like, hey, let's do college football. I can do 15 minutes on talk about Lawrence Guy,
Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, Nick Sirianni yesterday. Apparently, I can give opinions on the coaching staff over there in Philadelphia. I went viral on Facebook, apparently.
I know.
You see that? It was like
I saw that.
200,000. I don't even want to read the comments. I don't want to go through that.
Oh, it's a bad place to be in those comments.
I don't want
It's
to be
a
in those
bad
comments.
place
I
to be
don't-
in those comments.
I don't care what people say. I truly don't. I actually find it funny when people like give me like good jokes that make fun of me for whatever reason. One time they called me Blonde Boy or something like that. I was like, oh man, come on.
Get more creative.
We can do better than that. And then another guy called me a Proud Boy, and I was like, all right, that was a little too creative. Let's
dial it back.
Let's pull it on back. Jacob, top 10 teams in college football.
Bearcats,
Look,
number 10.
I thought I was going to be as happy as everyone else that Kinner was gone, but I miss him. This is the first time we're talking college football all week. I need a little college football in my life. So
Bearcats top 10.
yeah, for sure. If we do the bottom 10, hey-o.
College football is beautiful because we constantly talk about, do we have a good schedule this week?
Oh, the schedule
Do we have
rocks.
Do we have a good schedule this week? And then like we'll watch the game, and like it'll be like a team that was supposed to win by 40. Like it'll be a 2-score game in the third quarter. Like that was a good game. I was like, dude, the final score was 60-20. What are you talking about? That was a good game. That's what we do with college football.
We have good games this week, so keep an eye out for them. But number 10, I have Kansas State, Big 12 team coming into the rankings. Kansas Avery Johnson looks great, 104 yards rushing in their game on Thursday night last week, and he's throwing the ball pretty well. It's his first year starting, and he's turned that offense into something that's pretty exciting to watch. So I think they could be a team that could sneak out of the Big 12 by winning it, because Utah is facing an injury to Cam Rising right now. It's big for their offense.
Does K-State have a chance to develop themselves as a football program with Oklahoma and Texas gone?
Yeah, I think Kansas State and Oklahoma State are the two that I'm looking at most to take over the Big 12 as the kind of big dogs in the Big 12. I think Oklahoma State has a step back.
They've been there for forever, right? Like
Yeah,
they go
yeah.
up and down. They're always good, but sometimes they'll be really, really good.
For sure. Oklahoma State's quarterback this year is 26 years old. So they're kind of playing with one arm tied behind their back in terms of just pure talent. But I think now without those other teams taking up a lot of the Big 12 level of talent guys in that region, those two teams are going to take a big step, especially Oklahoma State, because Oklahoma obviously is still going to take a lot of those guys in the SEC, but the Big 12, that like next level of guys that aren't going to the SEC, I think Oklahoma State and Kansas State are two. They're going to be there. Oklahoma State a year away probably. Kansas State this year could compete. I think they might sneak into the playoff depending on how that schedule goes. Number 9, I did not want to have him in my top 10, but I had him there anyway.
Ew.
I have Oregon. I think that they're still a really good team. They had a bad first half against Oregon State, but they pulled away late. They won by about 40. So I think they're a pretty good team. I think they're still in the mix in the Big Ten. Certainly not one of the top contenders, in my opinion, anymore. But the game, they get Ohio State in Eugene. They don't play a lot of other really tough games. It's very feasible that they could go 11-1, and we know how hard it is to beat a team twice. If they get another shot at Ohio State and Indianapolis, who knows how that could go. So they could certainly still sneak into the playoff. Dylan Gabriel's won so many college football games. They're going to be just fine as the season progresses. At number 8, another Big Ten team,
Love
USC.
this.
Miller Moss is great. I bet on him to win the Heisman before the year, and I think he's going to be in the mix, if not in New York at the end. They're a really, really good team. They're going to go to Michigan this week, and they're going to beat the brakes off the Wolverines. They're 5.5-point favorites, and it's not even close to enough. They're going to absolutely dominate that team. Michigan benched Davis Warren for Alex Orji, and Alex Orji got beat out by Davis Warren in the offseason, so they don't really have anything going for them on the offensive side of the football. Donovan Edwards still sucks. I think USC is going to pull away there, and they're my number 2 team in the Big Ten. I think that they're Ohio State's biggest threat.
Have we forgotten how great Lincoln Riley is? I think because he's never gotten over that hump, right? He's always had guys right there. I don't think anybody does quarterback better than him.
100%.
Look at the long list of quarterbacks that he's been in charge of, going from Caleb Williams, Kyler Murray, Baker May. Like, it's boom, 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 boom. Like, it's truly incredible, and it looks like he's got another one right there. I think that we are belittling what Lincoln Riley has done. In an era with Jim Harbaugh and Nick Saban gone, he has a chance to establish himself as the guy. And
he addressed the defense. Alex Grinch, inexplicably their defensive coordinator for 4 years under Lincoln Riley, and they had bottom, not top 100 defense. Defense is outside the top 100 every single year under Grinch. Grinch gets fired, and their defense still not great, but much, much better. They've addressed it in the transfer portal, getting a couple Georgia transfers, a couple SEC guys, and then they're turning that side of the ball around, and that's always what it's been for Lincoln Riley, is he hasn't had a defense to go with the offense. They've had to score 70 points to win games. Not necessarily the case anymore, especially with Big Ten offenses not being nearly as good.
They look the part defensively, by the way.
Yeah, they do.
They have never come close to, like, you'd watch them. I remember Sean Spurlock would be talking about when Caleb Williams was there and they were like a top tier team, and they'd be like, hey, they've got 180-pound linebackers. How are they going to compete with Ohio State and stuff like that? They look the part finally.
Yeah, Bear Alexander up front, 300-pounder, 5-star that committed to Georgia originally. Those are not guys you normally saw playing on the West Coast. So kudos to Lincoln Riley for addressing points of need. Number 7 for me is the current Heisman favorite, Cam Ward, in college football. It's pretty easy. If you're going to pick a team to go pretty far, just look at their quarterback position. If they have a good one, they're probably going to win a lot of games. I think Cam Ward is distantly the best quarterback in the ACC. I think Miami's going to kind of coast to an ACC win. I think they're going to be a playoff team and probably get a bye. Miami's 7 right now because we haven't really seen them play anybody with a pulse yet, but that's the case for a lot of teams across the country. I just want to see a little bit more because the preseason expectations for them were not nearly as high, but Cam Ward, obviously great, everyone knows that. But Xavier Restrepo, probably a top 5 receiver, if not top 5, certainly top 10 receiver in college football. They have weapons everywhere. They have team speed. Mario Cristobal is a good coach. I know he's screwed up some clock management and other things like that have been in the headlines, but he got Oregon to the top, and they were really, really good with him there. I think he's going to do the same with Miami. They continue to recruit well. Cam Ward's been great. It was reported earlier this week that Miami and Ohio State were in a bidding war for Cam Ward over the offseason until Ohio State settled for Will Howard. Certainly interesting to think about what Ohio State's offense would look like with Cam Ward because he's putting up crazy, crazy numbers in Miami so far.
Thank you so much for putting Florida in parentheses.
Well, you have to show respect. If
Correct.
I put the OH for Miami, Ohio, they were first. So
they were first.
Yeah.
They were a university before Florida was a state.
That's right. Love and honor, baby. Love and honor. Almost covered. Number 6, Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a very, very good team who, again, has not really played anybody. Their offense is incredible. Jackson Dart rocks. Their receiving core is otherworldly. And their transfer running back is stepping into the Quinshon Judkins role and not really missing a step, which was something I thought was going to take a massive regression for them this year was their rushing offense. With their 2-time All-SEC running back leaving to go to Ohio State, they really haven't. They've looked really, really good so far. And I think they're going to keep it up. They play a lot of their really, really hard games at home, which is going to be huge for them. They don't play Alabama in the regular season, so they could very easily go 11-1 or even 12-0. I know they got Georgia, but Georgia certainly didn't look good this weekend. So we'll see what happens with that. That offense is exciting. Jackson Dart probably also going to be in New York at the end of the season for the Heisman. Sticking with good quarterbacks, number 5, another SEC team, Tennessee. Nico is unbelievable. Again, we're 3 weeks into the season. Still haven't quite nailed the pronunciation of the last name, so we're sticking with Nico. But he's been really, really good so far. He's a redshirt freshman, and he's tearing it up. So I think Tennessee is going to be great. They were up 60 points at halftime to Kent State over the weekend. I was watching that game. Easily could have put up 100 if they wanted to. They took the foot off the gas pretty early, put in some backups. They look really, really good. They get Alabama at home in Knoxville. We know what they can do with that atmosphere when good teams come into play. I think Tennessee is a really, really good team, and they might be the second best team in the SEC outside of Georgia. Not quite ready to move them ahead of Alabama, but that's certainly something I'm keeping an eye on. Number 4 is Alabama. They looked really, really good against Wisconsin. They blew them out. My Tide, that's right. Yeah, number 4. They look really good, and then big game next week. Georgia comes to town. That's going to determine a lot for the SEC standings and how that all shakes out.
Do you think that you are the reason that Cincinnati sports has not had a championship because you root for the 2 greatest college football programs in the last 20 years?
Maybe.
Do you think that God's punishing the city that you are from?
Yeah, they might.
When it comes to the Reds and the Bengals, he's punishing Elliott. He's punishing Elliott because you root for both Ohio State and Alabama.
Yeah, he might be. But it's not my fault. I take no blame.
It's not your fault.
I take no blame.
Okay.
Number 3 is Georgia. Georgia looked really, really bad against Kentucky, and I think they lost the game, if we're being quite honest. I thought that was a pick 6 that was inexplicably overturned. Call on the field supposed to stand if it's arguable, and that one certainly was. So Georgia, for 3 years in a row, have scored under 20 points at Kentucky. All 3 times they escape with a victory. It obviously hasn't mattered much over the last 2 years, but it might this year. So I'm going to move them down when I have a chance, because who knows when you're going to have a chance again. Georgia's going to be number 3. ESPN, SEC, all that good stuff put out a wonderful stat about Georgia. They said they broke the record for SEC consecutive wins in the SEC. It was 28 straight conference wins. Whoopee! Longest streak in SEC history. That was quickly met with a community note because if you remember, they lost the SEC championship last year. They were counting that as a postseason game, not an SEC game, when it clearly counts as both. So not a true stat. Very fun that everyone loves to play up Georgia. They're doing all right. Certainly look like they've taken a step back this year. The defensive front doesn't look very good. Number 2, Ohio State. Ohio State has been dominant. They had a bye week last week, but they've been dominant so far. I expect more of the same this week against Marshall. They don't really play anyone until Oregon, so they're going to keep rolling.
The Ohio State.
That's right, the Ohio State. Number 1, a team that lost their starting quarterback over the weekend and got better. Yeah, team lost their starting quarterback over the weekend and got better. Arch Manning's incredible. He's better than Quinn Ewers. I've said it all year. I'm not a huge Quinn Ewers guy. I think he's a great college quarterback, but Arch is spectacular.
Jacob told me to go watch his 67-yard rushing touchdown. I've watched it 35 times this morning. How that guy's able to run that fast is beyond comprehension. I'm all in on Texas. I will be placing a large future on Texas to win the national championship game. I still have my $5 future on Georgia. 5 to win 15, I think. So
very nice.
Keep that in mind. I agree with Jacob's list.
Thank you.
I would have liked to see the Bluffton Beavers in there.
I would like to see the Bearcats on there as well.
The Bluffton Beavers are 0-2. They lost 56-21 at Albion last week.
Oh,
but
as
you know, it's hard to go up to Michigan and beat Albion.
When those 2 teams play each other, they threw out the record books.
Beat the Britons of Albion. So.
Before we go to break, I have one piece of breaking news.
Okay.
Ooh.
How breaking? Scale of 1 to 10.
It depends how much you like NBA free agency.
Oh, yeah. Shams killed him.
0.
ESPN senior NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski has agreed to become the general manager of the men's basketball program at St. Bonaventure, he told ESPN. So he will be in charge of the St. Bonaventure men's basketball team.
As a proud Shams guy, this is great news.
Big victory for Shams.
What's the role he's doing?
General
he's the
manager.
GM of St. He's
in charge of the NIL, as far as I'm getting. It says the role will include NIL, allocation money, recruiting, and supporting successful Bonnie's coach Mark Schmidt.
A lot of the big-time colleges now have GMs for a lot of the sports just because you have to do GM stuff with managing a salary cap or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not an official salary cap, but budget restraints and everything like that. Yeah, GM's an interesting position in college football and I guess college basketball too now. Alabama just paid theirs $1 million contract, so it's up there with assistant coaches with how much the schools value it. So certainly a big-time change in college sports.
For $1, do you know where St. Bonaventure is?
No.
New York.
Correct. City or state?
No idea.
It's in the state. It's not in the city.
Upstate?
No.
Downstate?
Southwest. All right,
you go.
we're going to go to break. When we come back, we're going to do Buy or Sell NFL edition. Thank you, Jacob, for the top 10.
course.
Disagree with every single piece of it. We'll be right back here on Off the Bench, presented by United Dairy Farmers.
Hey, everybody. It's
Hey,
that time.
Casey Rue.
Hey, I'm walking here.
Pizza. Has anybody got a pizza?
Walking here.
Who's
my
got
God,
a
is that Ray
pizza?
Romano?
Yeah, it is. I'm Ray Romano.
Queens. All right.
What was that?
I don't know.
Hey!
Hey.
It's Pawnee water, made right here in Hamilton, Ohio.
I love eating the pizza. I'm washing it down with some Bonnie.
Yeah.
I'm
smooth
Ray
water, no rocks in this
Romano.
water. Ooh, yeah. Love drinking Pawnee water. It's made right here in Hamilton, Ohio. Uses natural limestone filtration, unlike the artificial processing of the brands used. The result being a healthy alkaline water, and some say the best tasting water in the world. I certainly say so. Visit Pawnee Water at PAHHNI water.com so you can buy this great tasting water.
I was trying to get it to where they saw me in the background. If you look on the back of Casey's Casey's monitor, you can see me back there. So
You're right here.
do the monkey.
The Bengals report is proudly sponsored by Encore Technologies. At Encore, they deliver cutting-edge IT solutions for a data-driven world. From mobile computing and desktop support to advanced data center solutions, they help businesses enhance efficiency and
Productivity.
PRODCUCCIS productivity.
You almost had it. You really almost had it.
I thought I could go as fast as I could.
Productivity. Good job, Jimbos.
Thank you.
All right, it's time to lock in, guys.
Lock
Yeah,
it in.
keep-
Lock
This,
in.
you can't joke about this one because Jake and I messed this up like 10 times each. So please don't mess this
Please
one
lock
up.
in.
Game Time, the best ticketing app service out there. They have some of the best features. Game Time pick filters out the fluff to show only incredible deals on all the great seats that you don't have to waste your time searching through. All the thousands and thousands of tickets that they have available. You can just see exactly the price range you want, exactly the seats that you want to sit at, because all the pricing's up front. You can see exactly where you're sitting at. It gives you a little like picture view of where the seats are. It's great. It's one of the best services out there. Game Time app. Love it. Download the Game Time app today. Create an account and use code OTB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code OTB for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. What time is it, fellas?
Game time!
Game time! Game time!
Game time!
And I'm
Time.
What time is it, fellas?
I'm Ray Romano. I like the New York Mets, and I use Game Time.
What time is it, fellas?
Game Time!
It's game time.
We'll see if anybody looks at our window, our studio window. after that.
There are other people that work in the
Correct.
building. We often forget that.
Other people that work here.
Yeah. Yeah, apologies to headphone users, but now you know to buy your tickets on Game Time.
That's right.
Yeah, we didn't know before. Also, other housekeeping notes.
No, let's finish the ad first.
Okay, sorry.
Nothing. I was just going to say download Game Time today. Lowest prices guaranteed. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets. All that fun jazz. Remember, use code OTB. $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Redeem code OTB. $20 off your first purchase. Throwing it to you, Elliot.
Thursday. That's tomorrow because today's Wednesday, then Thursday. Thursday at 7 p.m. at Champions Grill. Not Bar and Grill,
I
just
screwed
Grill.
that up last night. I caught myself, though.
That was a good catch.
Caught myself.
Champions Grill, west side of Cincinnati. We will be there at 7 p.m. We will be there until 8 p.m. That is when Thursday Night Football gets underway, kicks off. I'll probably be there for a little bit after the NFL kickoff there, so I'll be there hanging out. Please come see us at Champions Grill. If you haven't been yet, it's a very fun place.
It is a fun time.
It is a nice place.
So come out, have fun with us. It's going to be myself, Jacob, and Casey talking all things Cincinnati Bengals.
That's right.
We're going to have a stink list. We're going to have the mailbag. We're going to have all our fun little segments. Please
all of our
come
original
out.
segments.
Yeah, that's correct. Every single thing we do is original. Champions Grill, that's on the west side of Cincinnati. Please come on Work Road, but not spelled like regular work. It's WERK
it's like
Road.
twerk without the T.
That's right. So Champions Grill, Work Road, 7 p.m. We are live. Champions Grill, Work Road, 7 p.m. We are live for a Chatterbox Bengals live show. We will see everybody there. Please, and thank you.
Yeah, Everett said it's a 45-minute drive to watch. The show is 1 hour, but we're going to hang out. We're going to get the best wings on the west side.
That's right.
You're not just there for our show. Our show leads up to the best product in the world. That is NFL football. We are the opener to the best band of the world, and that band is NFL football.
Okay, I think I can
get behind that.
So
what time do the doors open?
Doors open.
Oh, doors are opening?
See,
Yeah,
last time I was concerned nobody was
Morrison's
going to show.
open.
I was very concerned nobody was going to show up last time. It got to like 6:30 and like nobody was there yet. If you would like to get there by 6:45, I'd appreciate it. 6:45.
It packed out. It packed out last time.
It did pack out last time.
We got nervous right before, but it did end up packing out.
It did. So everybody, please come and support us. Everett, if you need me, it would be a 2.5 hour. Brother, that's how I drive there. I mean,
he lives in Indianapolis.
Oh, you're talking about Colin. Okay,
Yeah.
I see. I cannot make it tomorrow, sister's birthday. I'll try to make it in 2 weeks. Thank you,
Wonderful, Everett. Thank you.
Thank you. I will pay for your gas. In fact, anybody who goes to this,
is a bad idea for you to say.
I will pay for your gas. Now, this will be in one $5 payment per month.
Can I?
In perpetuity. And if I don't have the money
You'll
in
pay
time,
their gas if a 6-leg parlay hits.
Correct. If I hit a 6-leg parlay at reasonable odds, I will pay for everybody's gas that comes to this event. That includes Molly, Nathan, if Nathan's going to come again, if Michael's going to come again, everybody. Mark Fetters. I'd like to see Mark Fetters there. I need Mark Fetters to come to my side of town. I want to introduce Mark Fetters to everybody I know.
Adam House, how'd the surgery go? I saw on your Facebook.
Oh yes, Chi-Town.
Yeah, Chi-Town's here. I saw your Facebook post.
Yes, Mousecop, even you.
Hopefully you're doing okay. You think Game Time liked our ad?
I do.
I think they did.
Game Time.
I think they liked your scream.
I think it was good. I think that was the worst ad we've ever done.
You
for Game Time.
You think Dan Katz is reading something like that? You think he's doing the Game Time ad exactly like we do it? That wasn't a free ad. They didn't know him by different. They didn't know him by different.
I don't know
name.
who that is.
You can't.
See,
come on.
See, that's why I did it. See how smart that was?
That's good, I guess.
So Dan Katz doesn't read his Game Time ad like that. We read our Game Time ad like that.
You can't guess who the guy whose last name's Katz could possibly be.
I mean, I've got an idea.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Internet personality.
Yeah.
That's what Google
That's right.
said.
That's right.
That's what Google said. Any other? We're going to do box lunch after this.
Oh, and shout out to Ian. Ian's been in our chat for a while.
That's right.
He's upsetting everybody, but thank you, Ian.
If Ian wants to come on Thursday, he's more than welcome.
Well, I don't know. I don't even know if he's old enough. I mean, I don't. Is he? I think he's like a 16-year-old kid.
It's a restaurant too, right?
Yeah, you're right. It is.
You have to be 21.
Yeah, but he has to find a way to get there. I guess. Ian, have your parents drop you off. Ian, have your parents drop you off. Can 16-year-olds use Uber? Is that a thing?
We're not on radio, right?
No.
Yeah, make sure Patrick Mahomes' dad doesn't drop him off.
The joke there, Ian. I won't explain it to Ian. I think Ian gets the joke. He said he's flying on his private jet. Ian, I don't think he got a private jet.
Very nice, Ian.
But nonetheless.
Ian's been in timeout 5 times. I think he just keeps whipping up new accounts. So honestly, kudos to Ian.
Yeah, I like that. I respect that, Ian.
We got one last thing to promote, right, Jacob?
Ian's Chatterbox.
What, the show that Elliot just promoted for the last 5 minutes? Yeah, that's right. The show that Elliot promoted at
Do
Champions.
my promotion again.
Yeah, Champions Grill, the live show, is also Chatterbox Bengals.
Yeah.
Chatterbox Bengals will be live from Champions Grill on Thursday night.
I want to promote something.
From 7
This
to
seems like fun.
8.
I like it. It's fun.
And we'll also be live on YouTube if you want to check us out there if you can't make it.
Yesterday. So
We did
check
do a
that
show
out.
yesterday, and it's available everywhere that you listen to podcasts. So go ahead and download that puppy.
Including
Put it in
Amazon
your ears.
podcasts?
Yes.
Okay.
Including some podcast platform I've never heard of before that someone replied to our tweet saying it's not on this platform, so we added it to it.
Oh.
Nice. I was thinking about doing something
that really
with
That was very
with,
fast. That was
with
very good.
podcast feeds and how we could maybe get some more view. Casey, I got bad news.
What do you mean you got
I
bad
got
news?
bad news for you. Mustard Fest is this is stuff that could be off air, but Mustard Fest is on this Saturday, and I only want to say it because I think it's a really funny little event. We're doing an event this Saturday. It's called Mustard Fest. It takes place in Springfield, Ohio. It is a wiener dog race. Joey Chestnut will be eating hot dogs in Springfield, Ohio this Saturday.
Problematic.
How does that not make the news?
Oh, it will.
How does that not make the news?
I think it'll. I think
it will.
One of your boys is out there doing a town hall meeting there. I think.
One of my boys.
Yeah, one of your guys.
Yeah,
What
they
about
are.
my guys? You don't know if it's my guy.
Your
or not.
guys aren't there. I know about your guys.
You don't know about my guys.
And gals. I know your guys and gals aren't there.
All right, guys.
Back to Radio World.
Back to the land of radio. That was Marvin the Martian, I guess.
I thought that was Kermit.
Hang on, Kermit. This is Kermit. Marvin is kind of like that, but he's like very punctual about how he talks. It got to Kermit at the end.
It was pretty Kermity.
All right, we're going back to Radio Land. All right, guys, I don't know if you're in the market. But it's time to buy or sell.
Bye. Sell.
Bye. Sell.
Casey, hit the button.
Bye. Sell.
Hit the button.
I don't think we have the button.
No more buttons?
What a heartbreaking
No
discovery
more
that
buttons.
is.
Well, we never used it, so I got rid of them.
No more buttons.
But what about times
Tom,
like this when we're going to ask you to press the button?
Well, I don't know what to tell you guys.
Can you at least do the voice?
You have to do it then, manually.
Bye. Sell.
Yeah.
Do you know who that is?
Yeah, it's Kramer.
That's right. That is.
It's who?
Is it actually Kramer?
Yeah, it's Jim Kramer.
Jim Kramer.
Yeah. That's where we got it. Yeah, the bye.
I didn't know if it was someone mimicking a Kramer.
No,
I ripped
we
it
ripped
straight
that.
from
We
the
ripped
show.
it.
That's
Ripped
incredible.
that straight from the show. All right, buy or sell NFL edition. This is where I'm going to bring up a prompt, and Ellie, Casey, and Jakey. That's the first time I called you Jakey on the show.
Hey,
That's
Jakey.
what my mother calls me.
Jakey.
Really?
Yeah.
And
Either Tissa or Jakey.
you're gonna either
Tiss, that's
buy or you're going to sell. So, without further ado, let's start off in the NFC. Kyler Murray is a top tier QB. Jakey, you buying or selling?
All those chips, middle of the table. I'm the biggest Kyler Murray believer in this room. And now that Reed's been in here for the last couple of days, I think that gap's shrinking because he's also a Kyler Murray believer, which
That's
is
true.
great to see. Great to see. I think Kyler Murray's a top 12 quarterback in the league and can only climb from here. I think he's incredible. I think the scheme is working great. They're fitting it to what he does well and trying to eliminate as much of what he can't do well as possible. I absolutely love Kyler. I think they're setting him up for success. James Conner's been phenomenal so far this year. He's the top 10 fantasy running back. Trey Benson's looked good in limited snaps when James Conner's wheels fall off because he's 40. They're going to have a nice young guy they can plug in there. Marvin Harrison looked great. Greg Dortch is one of the better receivers in the league against man coverage. I think Kyler Murray's only going up from here. I'm buying it to the moon. I have the Cardinals in the playoffs, and he's really the only reason why.
I'm going to say I'm going to buy it as well because I think Kyler Murray is. I think
Nice.
what Kyler Murray can do with his feet too is underrated.
Incredibly.
I think that he has the arm. I think. Do you remember the throw he made against the Bills 2 years ago to DeAndre Hopkins? That Hail Mary throw, and somehow DeAndre Hopkins went up and got it. That's the throw I remember of Kyler Murray. He's got a cannon. He's got the wheels. I think if he has a good coach and a good supporting staff around him, I think he's going to be a very effective quarterback
Did you see
in
the play
the
over the
NFL.
weekend where he no-looked it when the ball was 20 yards away? He rolled
No,
out
I
and
didn't.
threw a 20-yard touchdown and turned around and was celebrating to the sideline. The ball was 20 yards away. The receiver
Seriously?
wasn't even in the camera yet.
Oh, that's
It
incredible.
was unbelievable.
Yeah, I think I don't know what top tier quarterback would be. I think he's certainly a top 10 quarterback. If that's top tier, then that's what it is. I don't know if he's better than the top 5 guys as of right now, but I would you take him over Dak?
I would.
I think I would too. So I that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to buy it. Bye.
Casey, I think we talked about this before the show started, and I thought you promoted or at least brought up a pretty valid concern when it comes to Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's playing out of his mind right now. And he's been very, very good in the past. He's been a top 10 quarterback, but I can't put you in the elite category if you can't throw in more than half of the field. You can't throw over the middle of the field.
Okay.
That takes away half of the plays. A lot of the play design, it feels like, is, on the outside, which is good. I mean, he's capable of making those throws that are wow. But you can't throw it over your lineman. You got to run around out of structure and create something to be able to throw over the middle. That, to me, is just it's tough. But as of right now, this second, it looks really good. Like I said, I was shocked when I saw the play that you're talking about. I mean, he threw it, and as soon as he was done throwing, he's celebrating on the sideline before the guy even caught it. I mean, he's got that much confidence and swagger right now. Yeah, I'm buying the stock as of this moment. If he can continue to play like that, not have to worry about throwing over the middle, if he can continue running around like he has been, all the chips in the middle of the table.
I think that division, maybe not so much with the Rams and their injury situation, but that division has the opportunity to be maybe the best division. We talked about the AFC North. We talked about the NFC North coming into the year. The NFC West has an opportunity to be the best division in football because the Seahawks look pretty viable. The 49ers are Super Bowl champs. I thought that the Rams were at least contenders to get to the NFC Championship game. Obviously, they're hurt right now, and if the Cardinals are good, that's a dang good division. I mean, that makes it easier, and it honestly hurts the 49ers' chances of being like the number 1 seed, getting the bye. It hurts all these things because every single week they're going to be playing a top tier. Kyler Murray is a top tier quarterback. I've been saying that for a long time. It's funny how often we forget about how good quarterbacks are just based off team success. Like we are forgetting how good Justin Herbert is. We're forgetting how good Kyler Murray is. People have already forgotten how good Joe Burrow is. Like, if your team's not constantly at the top of its game, people forget. We will soon forget how good Matt Stafford is. And I think Matt Stafford's probably the best NFC quarterback at this very time. Kyler Murray is a top-tier quarterback. I'm buying. All right, so we're going from there. I'm going to just give you a team now. Buy or sell.
Buy, sell.
The New Orleans Saints. Casey Rue. Casey Rue, are you buying or selling the New Orleans Saints?
Do it, Casey.
So I'm going to cheat. I don't think they're going to be good at the end of the season, but as of right now, they're one of the hottest teams in the NFL. So I'll buy that they'll be good for the next 8 weeks and then tail off at the end. I just can't believe in a quarterback like Derek Carr. I think they have great weapons. I think that the defense somehow is doing well. I haven't really looked into it, why it's doing so well, because a lot of the pieces that were there that made that defense great 5-6 years ago are gone. So I have to do my research on that. But as of right now, I'll buy that they're a hot team right now in the NFL, and they're going to do really well in the next 5 to 8 weeks. So buy.
I'm going to buy as well. I think they're the best team in organized football today. They are going to continue to dismantle opponents, score 40 points a game. They have 90-something points in 2 games played.
Yep.
They're going to get to 130 after this week. So, listen, I'm all in on the Saints. I'm all in on that offense. I'm all in on the defense. I'm all in on the New Orleans Saints. They're bringing a Super Bowl back to the Dome. To the Dome.
Home Super Bowl.
That's right.
That'd be big time. Yeah, I couldn't be selling more of the Saints. I'm trying to find Saints stock to sell.
Boo.
Yeah, I could not have.
Who's a more fraudulent 2-0, the Steelers or the Saints?
Oh, my God, the Saints. The Saints are a much worse team than the Steelers are. Yeah.
Boo.
I have zero faith in Derek Carr keeping this up throughout the season. We've seen him play for 11 years, and he's never been this good. I think Clint Kubiak's a great offensive coordinator, but I think it's going to take a different quarterback. I like Chris Olave a lot, but Rashid Shaheed is exactly what Cam Taylor-Britt said about Xavier Worthy. He can run straight, and he does it pretty well, but he doesn't do anything else. They're going to rely too much on Kamara, and it's going to bite him at the end of the year. I don't think they're going to be any more than a 9-8 team at the end of the year.
2-0 currently. The New Orleans Saints are scored more points. They look like the real deal. For the two that bought, I'm going to give you their next 4 games. You tell me if it's a win or a loss.
Okay.
They're 2-0 right now. Home against Philadelphia.
Win 38-0.
On the road in Atlanta.
Win 35-2.
On the road in Kansas City.
Win 64-63.
Home against Tampa Bay.
win, 65-64.
You got them at 6-0. I got them at 2-4.
Come on.
I'm selling the
What do you
New
mean,
Orleans
come on?
Saints.
2-4.
Listen to the schedule. Are you psycho? They're going to lose at least 3 of those games.
Yeah, they're gonna lose. They're gonna
You're a
lose 3 of their,
psycho.
They're gonna lose
You
at
just
least
said
3 of their
63
next
to
4
nothing. I don't think
games.
you're taking it seriously.
New Orleans Saints. Sell. Yeah, they're going to lose 3 of their next 4 games at the minimum. I think they have a chance to go 2-4, and then it doesn't get easier beyond that. They play the Broncos after that, and then they go right back and play the Chargers. So like that's a tough game. Speaking of the Los Angeles Chargers, that's going to be the next buy or sell. Los Angeles Chargers, you buying or selling? I'll start this off right now. I'm buying. I think that they have the best tackles in the league. Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater are the highest PFF graded tackles in the league. They've got what is maybe the best football coach currently coaching in football right now in Jim Harbaugh, and they've got a really good quarterback in Justin Herbert, borderline elite. I think we're going to be having elite conversations with Justin Herbert, but they're not going to ask him to do a whole lot. That's kind of been the problem with the Chargers over the past few years. They're asking Herbert to do too much. I think Harbaugh is going to rein it in. They're asking him to do a lot less, and I think he's going to flourish in that. I think the Los Angeles Chargers are the real deal. I think they're the real deal Holyfield. I haven't looked at their schedule. They play in a tough division, obviously, because the Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs, they got to play them twice. But this Chargers team I'm buying all the way. Guys?
Yeah, couldn't be more in on the Chargers. I love Harbaugh. I think he's the best coach in the NFL. Couldn't be happier that he's gone from Michigan so I can root for him again. He's incredible. He said over the weekend that he loves football guys and football guys love him. And if you don't love football, he stays away from you because all he wants to do is talk football. And I resonated with that a little bit.
The human body craves contact.
Yeah, that's right. The human body does crave contact. And Harbaugh turns teams around. We've talked about it over the last few days. It's all he does, and he's doing so with the Chargers already. I think he's the best coach in the NFL other than Andy Reid, and I think this rushing attack is phenomenal. And there's always the worry about J.K. Dobbins getting hurt, but I think J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards is a suitable backfield there, and Justin Herbert I have an immense amount of respect for, and I think he's great. So, yeah, I think the Chargers are going to be really, really good, and I think they're going to finish second in that division.
I'm going to sell the Chargers because I haven't seen enough yet. The Chargers have beaten 2 very, very, very bad teams. Justin Herbert's looked very bad in those games. It's been the J.K. Dobbins show. And if that's the game plan to build the Chargers around J.K. Dobbins, then maybe go ahead and try it, and we'll see what happens this season. But until Justin Herbert starts showing up, they don't have a ton of pass-catching options. I'm going to sell the Chargers until I'm proven otherwise. I think there's a chance they could sneak into the postseason, but when it comes to them winning a postseason game, I'm selling all the way. I think the Chargers will be good eventually. I think they'll be really good eventually. I do not think they are good this year. I'm going to sell the former San Diego Chargers.
You said Justin Herbert hasn't looked good. I'll push back. I know he doesn't have major passing numbers, but I think this is just more of the same of what we've always seen with Jim Harbaugh as a coach. He's not at it was the cause for concern about J.J. McCarthy last year. College is much different than the NFL, but he doesn't ask a whole lot from his starting quarterback. And like I said earlier, that's been the thing that I think has held the Chargers back is they've been too reliant on Justin Herbert, and he's not the Josh Allen where you can do that. He's not that type of player yet to where you can say, hey, go win us this game. Go on out there, Josh. They can't do that with Justin Herbert. And with the fact that they have 2 of the best tackles in the league, the fact that they have Jim Harbaugh, and I see you guys talking about the Andy Reid disrespect is crazy. I don't think anybody respects Andy Reid more than I do. I don't think anybody respects Andy Reid and what he's been able to do over his entire career is incredible. That being said, Jim Harbaugh has won in terrible situations everywhere he goes. And it's not even that he's just won. It's that immediately they have turned into contenders or dang good teams. Immediately. And I think they're getting more of the same. Casey, you buying or selling the Chargers?
I am 100% selling the Chargers.
Let's go, Casey.
Justin Herbert's not looked good. That receiving core, have you looked at it? Quentin Johnston is the leading receiver on that team, and
He's playing really well.
He was borderline not going to make the team, though, at the beginning of the season.
That's just not true.
I mean, he
He's
was
the number 1
horrible.
receiver on their first depth chart they released.
Yeah, but he was still playing horribly. He was dropping the ball all preseason long.
But he was never a cut candidate.
He was still playing really bad. You get the point. He was playing horrible. If he was not a first-round receiver, he'd probably get cut.
That would have been a terrible mistake because he looks great through 2 weeks.
Well, 89 yards looks great. Okay.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns. Be the Bengals' leading receiver.
Yeah, sure. The main talking point is J.K. Dobbins, who has 266 yards, 10 yards a carry. That is not going to last long. That's not sustainable. So that being said, I'm selling the Chargers offense. They play in a division with the Kansas City Chiefs. I just can't buy them. Like, they're going to eventually have to go up against them, and they're going to fail. So selling
the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm gonna pull up their schedule right here, right now, and they have an opportunity. So I just did the Saints. They started 2-0. I think the Saints are going to lose at least 3 of their next 4 games. If they win more than that, then I'll buy them. Like if they do well over the next 4 weeks, and I'm all the way bought in on the New Orleans Saints. These are who the Chargers play over the next 4 weeks. They go to the Steelers, who they are admittedly underdogs. I like that line way too much, so I'm not going to bet it. Then they go to the Chiefs. That's a very tough game. Then they go back-to-back weeks against the Broncos and the Cardinals. So this is a team that I think you're looking at a minimum of 4-2. Looking at a minimum of 4-2. And I know the Cardinals are good, but I think that Hardball will be able to put a put to that. Buy or sell, or we're going to take a short break. So we're going to continue on buy or sell when we come back off the bench. Presented by United Dairy Farmers. We'll be right back on 1410 AM. And we are back. Buy or sell. We've had some fun ones. We've had some heated discussion already. We all are in agreement that Kyler Murray's pretty good. We all disagree. We split 2-2 on the last 2 the exact same way. Elliot and Casey are buying the New Orleans Saints. Me and Jacob are buying the Los Angeles Chargers. And they've had it's crazy because they've had almost the complete opposite of starts of the season, other than the fact that they both started 2-0. One put up 1 billion points. One played slow, methodical games. I like the situation in Los Angeles way more than I like the situation in New Orleans.
The only difference is that one played a really good team and one team played 2 really bad teams. One played one really bad team as well, but they also played one really, really good team on the road.
But that's
and I'm telling you
that
that's not the only difference.
I know, but
the
we're going
main,
off
the
2
main,
games as max.
Well, no, I'm
the
taking
main
Jim
difference
Harbaugh
is
over Dennis Allen.
Yeah, and then Justin Herbert over Derek
Dennis
Carr.
Allen was the lowest winning percentage of any coach ever. Jim Harbaugh was one of the highest. That's what I'm betting on.
That's fair. I'm not. Listen, not to mention the Chargers do play the Raiders and the Broncos 4 times. So maybe they get a couple wins this season. Maybe they sneak into the postseason. I don't doubt that that's possible. I'm just selling them right now at this very moment. And to be fair, by the way, I said Justin Herbert hasn't looked good. Casey and I both kind of said that. He hasn't really had to do anything because, again, these teams that they're playing, terrible.
Yeah, I think he's got a 97 passer rating through 2 games. It's like top 10 in the league.
Completing like 70% of passes.
Yeah, he's just once again, it's just an incredibly efficient quarterback, which has been the big drawback on Herbert is how inefficient he's been over his career. Speaking of quarterbacks, inefficiency, I don't think there's been a quarterback that has been less efficient than the rookie that is Caleb Williams. So buy or sell, Caleb Williams isn't good.
Oh, you guys aren't going to like this one.
Isn't good. Jacob?
Sell. I'm not selling. I'm not buying this. We've seen 2 games for a guy who's one of the best prospects we've ever seen coming out of college. He's going to be just fine. He got pressured on 37 of 38 dropbacks. The O-line needs to get fixed. Thought it was going to be better this year. Obviously, it isn't. Need to fix that. The receivers are good, but, Keenan Allen's been out. Romoduze's been banged up. Need these guys to get healthy. No excuses for Caleb. We talked about how good the situation was coming in. He needs to look better. He's looked terrible so far. But so is every other rookie quarterback in the NFL. Let's not freak out on an entire draft class because of 2 bad weeks when passing touchdowns are down across the league. So I'm certainly not selling my Caleb Williams stock. If any of you guys are, I will happily buy it up.
I am going to sell, but he's on watch. If this is a colossal disaster of a season, if he doesn't throw for any touchdowns, there's a couple more horrendous interceptions, and maybe it was Peyton Manning, right? Peyton Manning has the most interceptions as a rookie. 26 as a rookie. So we'll see. I'm going to give him this year. He gets the benefit of the doubt of this year, as Jacob said. And again, the passing stuff is wild to me. I don't understand why all passing is down in the National Football League. But by insane numbers. But saying all that, like we're talking guys that are not throwing like 200 yards anymore.
The passing
like 175 yards.
Passing leaderboard is all people in the 500s.
Yeah, that's nuts. So nonetheless, I'm going to sell this, but he's on watch.
I mean, I feel like you have to sell, right? It's way too soon to be down on him. The thing is, though, I'm looking at some of these more advanced analytics here, and yeah, that's boring stuff here. But he is currently second in turnover-worthy plays.
Yeah. No, there's
he's
nothing.
He's
there's
not taking
nothing
care of the
positive
ball.
from his play for the first two
Yeah,
games, other than
there's-
winning a game.
There's nothing really to draw from it. He's had, let's see here, time to throw. Caleb Williams, he's had no time to throw. It's one of the worst in the league. So that doesn't help. I think I'm going to just sell because of the offense, not because of him. So I guess I would buy. Caleb Williams is good, but he's got a terrible offensive line.
I still can't believe they kept
But-
Eberflus.
So here's my problem with Caleb Williams and where I'm at, because I sung the praises because oftentimes I just defer to people that know a lot more about the sport. I do this with almost everything in my life. I go to the doctor, and if the doctor says I'm sick, and then guess what? I'm not going to give my opinion over it. If the doctor says I'm sick, then I'm probably sick. If I go take my car to the mechanic and he says you got this thing wrong, but it's driving fine, well, I'm gonna defer to the mechanic. And if the people that watch a lot more football tape, that have been in football a lot more longer, and their job is to scout talent and their job is to watch talent, and they're telling me that Caleb Williams is one of the more talented prospects that we've ever seen join the NFL, I'm going to defer to their opinion. But for all the efforts that the Chicago Bears did to give Caleb Williams a good landing mat, right? They bring in a lot of talent. They get him wide receivers. They draft Rome Odunze, Keenan, all these players that are there to help Caleb Williams. There's two things that still can hold him back. One is the team that he plays for, being the Chicago Bears, being the fact that their greatest quarterback that franchise, the oldest franchise that the league has ever seen, the oldest franchise in the league, their greatest quarterback is Jay Cutler.
The turnover Butler.
They've never had a 4,000 passing yard season. And on top of that, they get a coach that was on the hot seat. They bring him back, a defensive-minded coach, when other than what's going on in Houston, the recipe, the blueprint has been you get a young quarterback, you get him an offensive guy leading the team. You get him an offensive mind. You get him Andy Reid. You get him a guy like here in Cincinnati, Zach Taylor. You can say what you want about Zach Taylor. He was underneath Sean McVay. And now it's going pretty well in Cincinnati. Kevin O'Connell, J.J. McCarthy, like all these pieces. You've got to get an offensive guy, and I just don't know who can help Caleb at this very moment. The line is still terrible. What was the stat? Pressured 36 on 38 dropbacks, something along those lines. You can't know it, but there's for a quarterback that uses improv as much as Caleb Williams does. I don't know who's going to sit there and go, hey, you've got to rein it in. I don't know who's going to be the voice in his ear that goes, hey, you got to do this differently, or you got to be this differently. Because for all the pieces that they've got, for the wide receivers and the running back, and they really did try their hardest to lay out this map for Caleb Williams, I just don't know who's going to be able to say, like, hey, you got to do this differently. Hey, you've got to understand this. So I'm selling. I think Caleb Williams is too good of a talent to what's the old phrase when it comes to the banks are too big to fail? I think Caleb Williams is too talented to fail. I truly do. But, man, I am worried about the situation that he's currently in. All right, going to another buy or sell. We did the Chargers. We did the Saints. We did Caleb Williams. We did Kyler Murray. Here's one about the league in general. The AFC has been better than the NFC for quite some time.
Ooh.
The NFC is better.
Ooh.
Is better. I'm not saying better than the AFC. I'm just saying for the first time, it is just a much better conference. Like it used to just be propped up by one team, two teams. I think over
Just better than it's been.
Yes. I think I'm buying all the way.
I'm gonna buy too. I'm trying to think around the league right now. I think the NFC East is in a better place than it's been in a while. You have the Eagles, Cowboys, and I don't think the Commanders are a rollover anymore. I think the Giants are terrible, but You got to have some bad teams. I think the NFC South is better than what I thought it would be this season. Outside of the Carolina Panthers, again, you got to have some bad teams. NFC North, I think I don't know if I fully buy in on the Bears stock, but I think the Packers, the Vikings, and the Lions have all shown that they're competitors, at least this season. The Lions showed that they were last season. And the NFC West, as we all know, is the home of the 49ers. And you have the Seahawks, and you have the Rams and the Cardinals. So, yeah, I'm going to say it's in a much better place. I think it's better quarterback play than we've seen in the NFC in a while. Because I still think the AFC leads in terms of the upper echelon tier quarterbacks. You still think about the AFC.
Matt Stafford's probably the best NFC quarterback.
But nonetheless, I'm going to say that, the NFC is much better than it's been, and I'm going to buy it. I think it's more competitive. I think this year's playoff race is going to be a lot of fun in the NFC.
Yeah, so in years prior, the NFC champion was really just one or two teams, right? It was 49ers, it was the Eagles, and then you could sprinkle in a team like the Cowboys. Last year, came on late was the Detroit Lions. But now we're looking, while I still have the 49ers more than likely winning the NFC, I could see in upwards of 6 teams winning the NFC. I could see the 49ers doing it. I could see the Eagles doing it, even though I'm not a huge Eagles. I could still see them figuring things out. I could see the Detroit Lions. I could see the Green Bay Packers if Jordan Love comes back. I could see
Cowboys.
I could see the Cowboys, certainly, sure, even though I don't know. I've got concerns there. But I guess what I'm saying is none of that would surprise me. None of that would shock me. In years past, if you told me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were going to win the NFC, I'd be like, come on, let's be real. In years past, if you told me, even like 2 years ago, if you would have told me the Minnesota Vikings, who were the number 1 seed, if you would have told me, hey, they're going to win the NFC, I'd be like, come on, let's get real here.
Yeah.
Now I think it's a wide open table.
Yeah, I'm buying it. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead,
yeah, I'm buying it too. I think the NFC's better, but I think it's even more lopsided than it used to be. The NFC's better top to bottom, but I wouldn't have the Niners in my top 4 or 5 teams right now. They just lost to, pretty bad team, and they're all banged up now with
it's fair.
Deebo Samuel
That's fair.
out, Christian McCaffrey out.
I agree.
I think we're going to look at the NFC at the end of the year, and the Niners are not going to be the 1 seed because of how tough the NFC West has gotten. And we're going to get to the final, and they might not be in the NFC Championship. I don't think there's any chance that they go back to the Super Bowl. It's so hard for teams to lose the Super Bowl and then get back. It rarely, if ever, happens, and I don't think the Niners are going to do so this year. So we're going to see a new team out of the NFC, and I have no beat on who it's going to be. I really don't know.
Give me your way too early NFC playoff picture. 7 teams.
If the Packers get Jordan Love back within the next week or two, they're gonna be fine.
So you're going to have the Lions in. We won't go seeds. Lions are in.
Yeah, Lions in.
Packers are in. Vikings?
Vikings not in.
Okay. 49ers are in.
Cardinals in. Niners in.
The Cowboys are in.
Bucks in.
Bucks in. That's 6.
Falcons in.
Oh, my God. All right. Falcons in. Casey, buy or sell?
Speaking of the Falcons, we didn't talk about this enough about
No Eagles.
we didn't talk about this enough about Monday Night Football. The Falcons, if they don't get that drive, we are having. They just completely negated everything that we were going to say about the Atlanta Falcons. Like we could have came in here on Tuesday and just been like ripping them, like what's going on?
I would have had to
Kirk
apologize.
Cousins was a terrible thing. It would have been, and then just one drive turns everything around. Casey, NFC's better, buy or sell?
Oh, they are for sure better. I think I'm a little higher than you guys are on NFC teams. I think they stack up relatively well to the AFC. I think the AFC is still better, but it's certainly closed the gap from years prior. I think Kyler Murray coming back healthy has really helped. I think teams doing well without great quarterback situations have really helped as well. I'm thinking of teams like the Vikings and the Saints. You just realize that they have really good rosters. I think that the gap has definitely closed, and it's more comparable now. So I'll buy. Definitely buy.
All right, the final one I've got and the final one of our show today. I brought it up on Monday, but I want to hear you guys' opinion on this because I truly believe this, so I'm already teasing it. I am buying that the Bengals are the biggest threat to a Chiefs three-peat. I think the Chiefs by far look like the best team in the NFL right now, and I'm buying this all the way. Jacob, the way you are scratching your neck.
I want to.
The way you're scratching your neck.
His little beard.
Cat scratch.
Be
fever,
honest.
huh?
I'm saying this. Like I'm not ploying for clicks. I'm not doing that. I truly believe that the Cincinnati Bengals, out of every team in the NFL, are best suited to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Believe it with every bone in my body, with every cell that flows through my blood. Bengals are the biggest threat to a Chiefs three-peat.
I want to buy it. On Sunday, it certainly looked like they might be, but as of right now, I'm going to say it's the Texans in the AFC. I think the Texans are the team with the most team speed. I would love to see the Bengals with T. Higgins back, and if the offense gets up to 100 miles an hour with T. Higgins out there with Jamar, then yeah, I could be all in on this Bengals being the number one contender when they're completely healthy, but we're a long way from completely healthy. We're missing guys on the defensive line. We're missing Amarius Mims. We're missing T. Higgins. And when the Bengals get healthy and if it looks as good as we think it's going to look, then yeah, I'll buy this. But right now, I think the Texans have a better defense. I think their weapons are better, and I think C.J. Stroud's playing better than anyone this side of Mahomes. So I'm going to say the Texans are the biggest threat in the AFC.
I'm gonna buy this, Readeroo. I'm gonna say the Bengals are the biggest threat to the Chiefs, and it's just because every single time they play, the Bengals seem to have their number. I know that eventually we can only do we played them real close for so long. What's the record right now? We have 2 wins out of 4.
It's 3-2, right?
3-2 us.
Yeah, so we still got another one before that even comes. We're still good.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
So
we're
yeah,
up to
We beat them 2 times in the regular season. We've
That's right.
lost the
I
last
feel-
2 times. It's
you're
actually
right.
3-3. We beat them 2
3-3.
times in the regular
Well,
season.
the game with Jake Browning does not count.
Okay, Jake Browning game, correct. Jake
Browning
Browning
game
game
does
doesn't
not
count.
count.
So it's 3-2 with Joe.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna buy this. I think literally every single time we know the score is gonna be like 26-25, 26-24, something like that. It's gonna be close. It's gonna come down to the wire, and it's gonna be which kicker can make the final field goal at the end. But yeah, I think there's something about Lou Anarumo that stops Patrick Mahomes from looking like Patrick Mahomes. And I think there's something about the Bengals just playing to the best of their ability every time they face off with each other. So I'm buying this.
Casey Rue?
Yeah, I'm buying this as well, and I'm sure the chat will think it's a homer take, but a lot like Jacob said earlier. I mean, we were down all of our defensive tackles. We were down T. Higgins. We just weren't healthy, and I'm not using that as an excuse. I haven't all week long. I haven't used it as an excuse because we were right there, able to win the ball game. But that gives you the idea that this team is already very well equipped to go toe-to-toe without our best weapons out there on the field and still make it a close game. So that being said, I think the Bengals are for sure the best threat to beat the Chiefs. I think Texans are right there. I really do. I think the Texans are right there, but we've never seen it. We've never seen them go toe-to-toe. So it's hard to even really give them a thought until they face each other. So
You want to take that I've been workshopping? Ooh.
Oh, I like when Reed gets in the shop. I love when Reed gets in the shop.
Ooh. I've been workshopping this take. You guys are going to hate it.
Oh, I can't wait.
You guys are going to hate it. It's about the
I think you should do it for the YouTube side. I think we should go to break, end
Okay.
today's show, and then we
Well, if
save
the
it for
radio
YouTube.
listeners want to hear my take.
That's right. There we go.
The radio listeners want to hear my take. You can get on YouTube, search Chatterbox Sports. We're in here every day, 10 to 12 live. You can watch it live, get in the chat, and hear, meet all of our lovely fans. Meet all of our lovely fans. But that does it for us here on the radio today, 14:10 a.m. off the bench, presented by United Dairy Farmers. Reed Mouse filling in for Justin Kenner. We'll see you tomorrow. Okay. So like I said, I've been workshopping this take. And I'm going to put myself in a position of danger.
Ooh.
Danger. If it doesn't. See, I do think
wedge.
this. I do think this. When it comes to my takes on the NFL, I think I got to be better at pulling a trace. Or I think Elliot does a really good job at this, but when you have a take that's right, I gotta do a better job at promoting it. Like, remember when I was right about this? I oftentimes do, like, I hate being wrong more than I like being right. I hate losing more than I like winning. That whole thing. So I'm like, I mentioned yesterday, like I might be wrong about Brock Purdy. I might be wrong about Trevor Lawrence. I know I did the 13-0 thing last year in the postseason. But here's a take that I'm going to put myself out on an island on. and I'm going to put myself in trouble if it's wrong. But if it's right,
You'll look good.
oh, if it's right, I'm going to be pretty insufferable about it. I'm going to be pretty, I guess I'm insufferable about like always backing the Chiefs. I was always backed, like last year, everyone was telling me how bad the Chiefs are. Last year, people were telling me that the Bills weren't going to make the postseason. And I was like, dude, they've got too good of quarterbacks. But here's one. The Houston Texans are the Miami Dolphins of the last few years.
Counterpoint, they play inside.
I'm saying that they look incredible for the beginning of the year, but I'm not buying them long-term success in the postseason. I don't think, like you saying that the Houston Texans are the biggest threat to the Kansas City Chiefs, I ain't buying that yet. I'm not doing that yet because, one, I haven't seen them go toe-to-toe. And that's admittedly, and I have a hard time believing that team that got blown out in the divisional round last year by the Baltimore Ravens. And yeah, they've added some new pieces, Stephon Diggs and Joe Mixon.
Danielle Hunter.
They've added a lot of pieces. You can go up and down the roster. It is truly a testament to how great the National Football League is that the Houston Texans go from an unviable franchise, and 2 years later we're talking, are they true Super Bowl contenders? That's how great the NFL is. And I'll admit that C.J. Stroud, someone put it in earlier, C.J. Stroud didn't have a great game on Monday, or when they played the Bears, but he did make some great throws that really impressed me, and I was ready to admit that I'm probably wrong about C.J. Stroud. All that being said, I think that when push comes to shove, I think they're going to make the postseason. I think they're going to be a 10-win team. But if you're asking me at this very moment, are they closer? Are they closer to a Chiefs? Or are they closer to a Cowboys/Dolphins? I think it's the latter, closer by a mile than the former. I think they are closer to a team that looks really good in the regular season. They get to the postseason, and then we'll see what happens.
So you think C.J. Stroud's closer to Tua than he is to the top tier of quarterbacks, is what you're saying?
I think C.J. Stroud is closer to Dak Prescott, Tua Tagovailoa than he is Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Patrick Mahomes.
That is the point of disagreement, because everything you said is absolutely correct if you don't think C.J. Stroud's a top-tier quarterback. If you do think C.J. Stroud's a top-tier quarterback, then they have all of the stuff there necessary to be a competitor if he's going to play at that level late in the season. I think we've seen enough from him already to think that he will probably do so. He did it last year down the stretch.
Made some great plays.
Until that last
really
game.
Impressed me against the Bears. Like, once again, I know he put up 19 points or whatever. It was a low
He played really well.
But I thought he made some incredible
95
throws
passer rating, 260 yards.
Yeah, I thought on third down he made some great passes. Truly do.
I think
but there's also
is
something
stout,
about beating
too.
the Chicago Bears on Sunday Night Football, beating Caleb Williams in his second game, than it is going toe-to-toe with the Kansas City Chiefs, than it is going toe-to-toe with a team like the Buffalo Bills.
Can I give my counterpoint?
Sling it. I knew this wasn't going to be a popular take.
As a Bengals fan,
Yep.
I'm scared to play the Texans.
Okay. As you
I
should be.
am never scared to play the Dolphins, ever. There's no situation. There's
Would you
no
be scared to play the Cowboys? Because I compared them to the Cowboys as well.
I'm very scared to play the Cowboys.
But the Cowboys and the Dolphins aren't on the same level.
I think the Cowboys are significantly better than the Dolphins.
Yeah, that's where you really confused me.
Because I think
the Cowboys are way better than the Dolphins.
To go into Jerry World, yeah, I'm terrified of that. To go play Miami in Miami, I don't give a damn.
Right. If you said the Texans or the Cowboys, I could get behind that. They go 12 wins, they lose in the first round of the playoffs, maybe. But I don't think they're even close to the Dolphins.
They could play the Dolphins in burning lava, and I wouldn't. I don't care how hot it is, how hard the sun is beating down on this team. I still love our chances against Tua and the Dolphins. I think we're just a better team than them. I don't know if we're a better team than Texans. I don't know that.
I think the Texans' defense is just really, really good. I think Derek Stingley and Kwame Lassiter are great corners. I think adding Danielle Hunter to the front seven is great. Will Anderson, Defensive Rookie of the Year, he had a great game against the Bears, who we know their O-line stinks, but still 2 sacks in an NFL game is impressive as it gets. So I think they're good at basically every position on the field. I don't know that there's a clear hole in the Texans roster if these rookie corners are going to play to a high level. Tank Dell's been bad so far throughout this year, and Nico Collins looks like maybe a top 5 wide receiver in the league. And the Dolphins' issue is that they have such a finesse run game, and the Texans have Joe Mixon now and one of the best tackles in football in Laramie Tunsil. I feel like if push comes to shove and they have to run the ball, they're going to be able to do it against most teams.
Let me ask you this, Reed. If the Bengals played the Texans at home this season, let's say next week, What do you think the spread would be, and then would you bet the Bengals to cover it? Bengals are at home.
I think I get what you guys are trying to do, but where I'm pushing back on is I don't think until I see it with my eyes, and until I see it, and it won't happen until it happens. That's how life is, right? Nothing happens, and then it happens. But I don't think the Texans are as viable of a threat to the Chiefs. I don't think they're on the same level. I think they're closer to the Cowboys and the Dolphins. And the reason that we put them, the Cowboys and the Dolphins, in their own little thing is because we've seen them in those top-tier games lose. We've seen them then non-show up. And I think that's more likely to happen. Then we see the Texans take the Kansas City Chiefs to the AFC. They go to the AFC Championship game. They take the Chiefs, either beat them or go down to the wire. So putting post-regular season aside, like as a Bengals fan, like, playing the Cowboys, playing the Dolphins, playing the Texans, those are all tough games. And you said that it's much different. The Dolphins are much different than the Dallas Cowboys are, and I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I agree that the Miami Dolphins of the past few years are much different than the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, the Cowboys have won 12 games for 3 straight years. Dolphins have won 11 last year. They won 9 the 2 previous years, and that's with their starting quarterback only playing about 12 games. And when they get to the postseason, it's all the same. They get blown out by a much better team. And we only really saw one playoff game of Tua. Last year, or 2 years ago, Skyler, they're on their 3rd-string quarterback, and they took the Buffalo Bills down to the wire, who were the number 2 seed in the AFC and looked like the second-best team in the National Football League. I just think and I get it's an unpopular opinion for a myriad of reasons. One, and I've told you it's coming probably from a place of bias against Ohio State. I would also like to say that probably the fandom towards, because there was an unnatural gravitational pull to the Houston Texans last year, and I understood where it came from. It was the same place that pushed me away from it. It was because this Ohio State quarterback was having a phenomenal season. But I think they are much closer. I think they are much closer to the Dallas Cowboys, the Miami Dolphins, than they are the Kansas City Chiefs, or even the Buffalo Bills, or the Cincinnati Bengals.
I think if the Bengals played the Texans tomorrow at home, I think the spread would be probably 3.5 in favor of Houston.
I would take the Texans over the Bills comfortably.
Yeah, I want to be on your side, for the record. I want to be on your side. I did not predict the Texans to be in the playoffs because of everything you kind of just said. I thought they would tail off. I thought this would be a sophomore slump for C.J. Stroud. But until I see that, I'm gonna have to be proven wrong.
Also, I don't think that the spread will be 3.5. I don't think that the Texans. I'm maybe not disagreeing that they might not be favored against the Cincinnati Bengals. They might be favored, but I don't think they'd be over a field goal favorite at Paycor Stadium.
I think it'd be
this week. I think they would be.
I think they would be touchdown favorites in Houston if they played tomorrow. 6.5.
6.5. Yeah, I think 6.5, 3.5. If they played
These are good hypotheticals. These are good hypotheticals.
Yeah. So
I would take the Bengals in both those spreads, to be fair.
I would take plus 6.5. I wouldn't take 3.5.
If you gave me a whole field goal at home, I think I would.
If you ask me right now, who to rank AFC contenders against the Chiefs, I already did the buy or sell. The Bengals are the biggest threat to the Chiefs three-peat. I would put, admittedly, the Buffalo Bills ahead of the Texans as a bigger threat to the Chiefs. And I understand that the problems with their secondary, I understand all those things. I still just like a quarterback. I still just like Josh Allen and over C.J. Stroud. And I would put, you ready for this one? I would put the Texans third in a tie with the Chargers.
Chargers over the Ravens is crazy.
I don't know about that one.
So we'll see.
You're high on the Chargy Wargies.
I am.
You're high on the Chargy Wargies.
I am. I think the Chargers are going to easily make the postseason.
All right.
Because that's what we've seen.
Yeah.
Listen, there's a reason we keep stats. There's a reason that we keep record books, and it's to show us what has happened in the world. It's to show us what has happened so that we can learn. So that we can learn from previous things. We don't always have to guess. I don't know what happened last time. No. What has happened is Jim Harbaugh is everywhere he's gone. He's won. pretty quickly. And I really like the Jim Harbaugh, Justin Herbert. I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, when I prefaced the take, I understood that it was going to be a divisive one. I understood that it was going to be not a popular one, and that's why I gave it. And we'll see what happens. That's the beauty. That's the beauty of the world. As time moves forward. So all of our predictions, everything that we think that's going to happen, we get to see it happen, unfold right before our eyes.
December 21st, big game for this Chatterbox studio.
What is it?
Houston goes to Kansas City.
We'll see.
Second to last week of the year. It's going to probably determine some seeding. It's going to be a big game for that take.
We'll see. What happens if the Texans lose this week to Sam Darnold?
I think they could.
I think they could
I
too.
think the Vikings offense is awesome.
What happens if they lose their next 3 games?
Well, that certainly wouldn't be great.
Because then they play my guy.
If they lose to Jacksonville, there's gonna be a problem. Honestly, if they lose to Buffalo at home, I'm gonna be concerned. I think they're better than Buffalo at basically every position on the field except for quarterback, and I think it's really close.
They've got a tough end of the season.
They do have a gauntlet.
Starting on Halloween, they go to play. We'll see what the Jets are, but they play the Jets. Then they stay at home against the Lions. Then they go to Dallas. I mean, Tennessee's not going to be very good. Jacksonville doesn't look very good. Miami, whatever, because it doesn't look like Tua's going to play anytime soon. But then they go Kansas City and Baltimore to round out the year. We'll see.
It's tough.
We'll see you guys tomorrow. Houston Texans stink. Heard it here first on Off the Bench. We'll see you tomorrow. Box lunch.
Box lunch soon.
Box lunch.